Jong-hyuk was a genius police officer who always dedicated himself to cracking down on crime. But while pursuing a case, someone reported his mother's death, causing him to have an unexpected accident on his way home. It turned out the accident was a conspiracy to eliminate him, but Jong-hyuk was fortunate enough to return to being 17 years old. This time, he was determined to pursue his passion for judo and spend more time with his mother, while also investigating the tragic death from his previous life. Each clue he found gradually revealed a big secret related to his past and the reason for his reincarnation. Everyone, let us follow this fascinating story with Life Manhwa. Inside the police station, a stern voice echoed, "Listen here, Choi Jong-hyuk." The chief, with his chin resting on his hand, ordered, "Don't get involved in this matter anymore." Hearing this, Jong-hyuk sprang to his feet and asked, What are you talking about? It is not April Fool's Day today, Chief. You are taking this joke too far." The chief angrily stood up, slammed the table, and scolded, "Hey, do I look like I am joking? I told you not to get involved anymore." You did not listen and retorted, "So you are telling me to cover up a 200 billion won fake bond fraud case? If we investigate more thoroughly, we could catch them, could not we?" The furious chief picked up his nameplate and threw it at him, ordering, "Do what I tell you to do." The nameplate hit the wall behind Jong-hyuk with a dull thud. He did not obey but gritted his teeth and said, "I can't cover this up." Seeing Jong-hyuk turn and leave, the chief angrily pointed at him and yelled, "What did you say? Hey, stop right there." Inside a private room, a voice asked, "You mean you are going against the chief?" Jong-hyuk grumbled while typing on his laptop. A chief should act like a chief. Just then, Jong-hyuk's phone rang. "Please tell me the words from the bottom of your heart." Hyun-seok saw this and asked, "Team leader, your phone is ringing." "Is it the chief calling?" He replied, "I know, I am not deaf." "It is an unknown number." Jong-hyuk picked up the phone. "This is Choi Jong-hyuk, team leader of the high-tech crime prevention team." The other and asked, "Hello, is this Mr. Choi Jong-hyuk?" He paused and asked again, "It is me, what is it?" The other side delivered the sad news. "It is about Jong-hyuk's mother, she just passed away." Jong-hyuk was deeply shocked when he heard this. He could not help but stand up abruptly when he heard the other end say, "Please come to the morgue and complete the procedures." Seeing him trembling all over, Hyun-seok approached anxiously and asked, "What did he say? Is it a disciplinary committee meeting?" Jong-hyuk did not answer but rushed out, causing him to call after him, "Where are you going, team leader?" But he still ran fiercely, so the other only shouted, "Tell me what he said, team leader." Jong-hyuk, with tears in his eyes, gritted his teeth and thought, "Mom, there is no way this is true." In the hallway, two police officers walked along, sighing, "These reporters are killing me." Just when you think it is over, new ones show up. One of them saw him and called out, "Team leader." But Jong-hyuk zoomed past, leaving him bewildered. "Where are you going in such a hurry?" The two of them entered the office and asked, "Was the person who just left the team leader?" Everyone replied, "Yes, sir." Everyone began to chatter. "I heard they stopped investigating this, right? Let us clean up this place quickly." "What, are they really not investigating anymore?" As soon as Jong-hyuk ran out, someone immediately shouted, "Someone's coming." Reporters immediately surrounded him, constantly asking questions. "Please look at the camera. Will there be any changes in the police investigation after the Blue House's statement on this matter? Don't push. What are your thoughts on this bond fraud case?" But Jong-hyuk pushed through the crowd, gritting his teeth and running straight out. A member called after him, "Team leader." But Jong-hyuk had already gotten into his car and closed the door. He quickly pressed hard on the accelerator. Hyun-seok was still chasing behind, shouting, "Team leader, Choi Jong-hyuk, where are you going?" Seeing him disappear, Hyun-seok took out his phone and sighed seriously. What happened that he is in such a hurry? Jong-hyuk clenched his teeth and sped away. He cried while listening to his subordinate report, "Team leader, because of the anonymous bond forgery, everyone in the department is in a frenzy right now. Where on earth are you going?" He sobbed and called, "Hyun-seok." The other continued to say, "That bastard counterattacked, we have been reversed, the inspectors will come later to overthrow our team." Jong-hyuk cried loudly, "Hyun-seok, my mom passed away." Hyun-seok fell silent, then gently advised, "Listen to me, I will be right there, so do not think about anything strange." Jong-hyuk could not control the pain in his heart, repeatedly punching the steering wheel and yelling, "I am the only child, yet I only chased my ambitions. My mom is gone." Right behind him, a truck was swerving, Hyun-seok's urgent voice still echoing, "Calm down, please pull over to the side of the road, Choi Jong-hyuk." But the driver of the truck crashed straight into his car. A brilliant light shone, startling Jong-hyuk. The truck, making a sudden turn, knocked his car to the side. He collapsed on the steering wheel, groaning once. The truck driver got out of his vehicle. He approached, searching, "Where's the black box?" Nearing the car, he mumbled, "Still alive." Jong-hyuk was alive but had collapsed. The truck driver smirked sinisterly. "I told you to stop, you should have stopped. If you had, your mother would not have died." Jong-hyuk, still conscious, heard this and shed more tears, thinking, "What, so mom's death?" The truck driver was reaching out to remove the black box. After getting it, he bade farewell. "Have a good trip, Choi Jong-hyuk." Jong-hyuk, though his head was still spinning, quickly grasped the distinguishing features of his assailant: a snake tattoo on his wrist, a faint woody scent, and a voice that was not Yum. From behind, another truck sped towards them at an extremely high speed. He kept his eyes tightly shut, trying to remember before he lost his life: snake tattoo, woody scent, not Yum. The car crashed directly, creating a strong impact while he was still softly calling, "Mom." Jong-hyuk groggily tried to open his eyes, surrounded by men holding wooden sticks who were discussing, "He is not dead, is he? This guy does not die easily. Look, he is opening his eyes." Jong-hyuk held his bleeding head and groaned once. He stared blankly at the people around him, wondering, "What is this? Who are these guys? I remember, it is 1 Soyeong 7, I am 17 years old. Just like that day, so these are the memories that appear before death. If I had not been injured that day, I would have continued to lead the team, and then I would not have become a police officer." He tried to stand up, thinking, maybe I would have become a medal-winning athlete or a manager or something. The gangster was quite surprised to see him stand up. And he, still thinking this was a flashback before death, thought, "Anyway, before these memories end, Mom, I have to see Mom." The leader of the thugs angrily cursed, "Hey you dog, so what if we stole money? An athlete like you should focus on training, what are you meddling in?" Jong-hyuk heard this and thought, that is right, that is how it all happened. He still had not noticed the abnormality, and put his hands in his pockets, ordering them to leave. "Hey kids, blood has already been spilled anyway, let us stop here. Your big brother is a bit busy today." He heard this, swung his stick, and cursed, "Busy my ass." Jong-hyuk stared at the swinging stick. He was stunned, wondering, why is it so slow? Jong-hyuk took a step back, his eyes fixated on his prey. Taking advantage of the swinging stick, he also charged forward. He used force to throw the thug to the ground. He knelt on one knee, looking at him and warning, "Are you guys trying to murder me? Even if you benefit from being underage, you will still be prosecuted under Law 910. The remaining guys looked blankly and asked, "What did you say?" He smirked and cursed, "What is what? It means I am ready to beat you guys to a pulp." Jong-hyuk advanced fiercely, making them retreat in fear. Do not come closer." Jong-hyuk scoffed. Then he blurted out, "Sorry, but I do not have time to play with you guys." He jumped over the wall with force, with only one thought in his heart, "I have to go see Mom." After landing, he felt strange, "My body feels weird." As if realizing something, he looked up. He was startled when he saw Soyeong watering plants. Behind the wall, the curses still echoed, "That dog Choi Jong-hyuk, you are dead tomorrow." He stood up and waved, Sorry, student." Seeing Jong-hyuk about to run off, she quickly called out, "Hey you. Blood, your head is bleeding." But Jong-hyuk rushed away. He walked with tears in his eyes. In his heart, he kept calling, "Mom." Jong-hyuk ran fiercely through the streets. When he arrived, he stopped, gasping for breath. He looked at the woman selling goods in front of him and called, "Mom." She was smiling, handing food to a customer. Seeing this scene, he called out with tears in his eyes, "Mom, Mom." Seeing him, she exclaimed in surprise, "Hello, son." He shed tears, constantly calling, "Mom." She rushed over, asking worriedly, "Why are you crying?" Then, touching his head, she shrieked in alarm, "Blood." Jong-hyuk sobbed, thinking, "I am sorry. I am truly sorry, Mom." She sternly called, "Choi Jong-hyuk." Then she hit him several times, making him cry out, "Ouch," while she continuously scolded, "Didn't I tell you not to fight? Did you hurt anyone?" Jong-hyuk, struck, was stunned to realize pain. He held his beaten shoulder, suspicion arising, this feeling, is it real, could it be? I really did regress. I can't believe it is all real. Realizing this, Jong-hyuk was overjoyed and immediately hugged his mother, calling, "Mom," which confused her, "Oh dear, what is wrong with this boy?" He hugged her tightly, telling himself, "Mom, this time I will definitely protect you." Just then, a voice from beside them asked, "Do we have a customer?" A woman drew back the tarp and, seeing someone, greeted, "Sister Yi-suk." Jong-hyuk stared at the person in front of him in surprise. He gritted his teeth, thinking with disgust, "This woman? Her real name is Song Yangja, with 5 prior convictions for fraud. Jong-hyuk stared at the woman talking to his mother and recalled, this person's real name is Song Yangja, with 5 prior convictions for fraud. She had carried out sales fraud, a common form of fraud at the time. Song Yangja had formed an investment group to build the trust of traders. This was carried out by her for 3 years, and the total damages suffered by the victims amounted to 3 billion won. My mother was defrauded of all the assets she had saved up over many years by going without food and clothing. That caused my mother to completely collapse. He remembered that day she had sobbed and said, I am so stupid, I am sorry. Jong-hyuk at that time held his head, gritting his teeth. Jong-hyuk asked himself, what did I say back then? He had angrily cursed, oh my god, why are you so foolish, Mom? Remembering this, he blamed himself, you are truly a fool. Jong-hyuk opened his eyes as if sensing something. Yangja looked at him and asked, is that your son? His mother smiled proudly, that is right, he is my son. Yangja smiled and complimented, the boy looks so healthy. His mother proudly replied, both his face and physique are just like his father's. Yangja nodded, that is right, it is no wonder his father was a police officer. Jong-hyuk frowned when he heard her next sentence. How could his father have had a traffic accident and left behind such a kind son? He angrily clenched his fists and gritted his teeth, thinking, what do you mean how could? Shut your mouth. All right, keep pretending for now. He said to himself with fierce determination, sooner or later, I will expose your fraud and send you to jail. She waved goodbye. I am going home now, you worked hard today. His mother replied, you worked hard too. Jong-hyuk impatiently skewered fish cakes. In his heart, he was full of fighting spirit. I will see you again soon, Song Yangja. His mother reminded him, son, do not skewer any more fish cakes, we won't sell them all. Reminded, he regained his composure, looked at the pile of fish cakes he had skewered, and replied, ah yes. She smiled and asked, receiving an awkward laugh, you have to finish it all to relieve stress, right? She patted Jong-hyuk's shoulder and said, don't laugh, your wound will open up. He laughed and replied, it is because I am like Mom. In the early morning on the way, Jong-hyuk was lost in thought, I never knew, my mother was in her 30s. He helped his mother push the cart home, thinking, every day, every single day. She walked alone on this long and narrow road. Just for an unfilial son like me. She pushed the cart from behind and asked, you should rest at home. Why do you come with me every day, aren't you tired? He smiled and replied, look at your son's physique, Mom. I am not tired at all. He thought smugly, I have a plan, Mom. Trust me. The sun gradually rose over the top of the building. Outside, the streets were bustling with people, and food stalls had been set up. She spread out the seaweed and then turned to instruct, put the vegetables in there. He held the bowl of vegetables in his hand and replied, yes, while thinking to himself. At that time, there were hardly any franchise stores. Office workers' breakfast was street kimbap. I do not know how to make a street stall thrive, but I ate a lot of kimbap while on stakeout assignments. So I know how to make the highest quality kimbap rolls. He took out a box and placed it on the table. She curiously asked, what did you put in there? Jong-hyuk opened the box lid, thinking, dried squid kimbap. She looked at it and then lifted her head, bewildered. What, you mean you are putting this in kimbap? Is that why you asked me to stir-fry dried squid? He smiled confidently, Mom, just trust me. Just try it, Mom. She followed along, but still mumbled, why put this in kimbap? After a while, a piece of dried squid kimbap was completed. Jong-hyuk smiled and asked, how is it, Mom, is it delicious? It is really delicious, is not it? She replied with an evaluative expression, I have not even tasted it yet. She put the new dish into her mouth to try. Then she turned sharply in surprise to look at her son. She excitedly asked, how can it be so delicious? He gave a thumbs up and praised, it is all thanks to this woman's cooking, of course. She deftly packed items while urging, just sweet talking, hurry up and go to school. But he still stood there hesitantly. I will help Mom a little more and then go. But she had already finished a mountain of kimbap and said, it is all done, what else is there to help with? Seeing this, he was surprised, what the heck, how can Mom do it so fast? She continued to work and said, besides, seeing a big person like you here, customers are scared to come in. Hearing this, Jong-hyuk muttered disappointedly, that is so hurtful. She patted his butt and urged, stop talking nonsense, go to school, son. After walking a short distance, he turned back and reminded, call me if anything happens, or rather, get my pager for me. She loudly replied, I know, be careful. And watch out for your head wound. On the subway, Jong-hyuk sighed to himself, no matter how old I get, I never like going to school. But I have to change to catch the person who killed my mother. At school, the teacher's loud shout echoed, Choi Jong-hyuk, are not you going to run faster? You are only in 10th grade. How can you be late like this? Jong-hyuk ran over with his school bag and greeted, I greet you, sir. Jong-hyuk introduced, this is Mr. Shin Song-gil, the disciplinary teacher of the judo club. He is a genuine teacher who tried to teach and encourage me, helping me calm down when I almost became handicapped from an injury. He smiled and asked, why are you stuttering? Jong-hyuk, who had not seen him in a long time, rushed forward and hugged him, calling, teacher. He then scolded, what is with that big grin, kid, let go of me. Then, as if seeing something, he exclaimed, He reached out to touch the bandage and asked, what is wrong with your head, kid, what happened, why are you injured? He hesitated and recounted, that happened because of me. After hearing him, he reminded him, you are a judo athlete, not one of those thugs who fight on the streets. This is a bit much. He walked around, looking around, and asked, so, how many stitches did you get? He held up his fingers and replied, 25 stitches. He put a stick behind his head and said, then you need to rest for a while. I will tell the judo team members. Now go to class. But he chased after him, refusing, no, I do not need to, just. Before he could finish, he yelled, if you exercise too much, the stitches will break, understand? Jong-hyuk could only comply, I am sorry. Then I will go say hello to everyone quickly, and then go to class. The judo training room was filled with many medals and commendation letters. The other students were all training seriously. Jong-hyuk took a deep breath. Then he bowed deeply and said loudly, hello seniors. Seeing this dire situation, they quickly gathered around and asked, what is wrong with your head? He said awkwardly, yes, well. Dong-ik flared up in anger, grabbed his shoulder, and pressed, who was it, who dared to hit our youngest on the head? He cracked his knuckles and continued to ask, was it Kim Kang-hyun, that bullying bastard? How dare you lay a hand on someone from the judo club? But the other senior, while warming up, spoke up, those guys have left him alone. Looks like we have to step in again. Jong-hyuk talked about these people, the special sports team, even though we only met for a short time, we all considered each other family. Before regression, after tearing my index finger ligament and elbow, I always stayed with them throughout my high school years. That is why now I have to seize the time. To be able to possess one of the legitimate weapons against bullies, which is the help of the judo team. This time, I must become the chief of the city. I will find the person who killed my mother. Dong-ik crossed his arms and boldly declared, we will handle this problem. You go back to class. Ganging up on a kid. He angrily cursed, and they brought 10 guys, those dogs. Where did they hit you? He bowed his head and stammered, I am sorry for making you all worried. He immediately shouted, you did not do anything wrong to apologize for, look up, kid. Jong-hyuk bowed and said, then I am leaving. Dong-ik quickly cared and instructed, rest well. Come here to train once your wound heals. Leave everything to us. He replied, yes, sir. In his heart, he was thinking smugly, you guys are done for, you nasty bullies. Inside the room, the principal was sitting on the sofa discussing something with someone. Sung-gil pushed the door open and ran in, calling, principal. The principal looked up and asked, what is it, Mr. Shin? He angrily questioned, what did you say when you brought me here, do you remember? The other person smiled and invited Mr. Shin, even though I do not know what you are talking about, please sit down and let us talk. Sung-gil sat down, full of annoyance, and reminded him, you told me I just needed to focus on training the kids, and I did not need to worry about other things. You said that, right? The principal asked, did something happen? Sung-gil angrily recounted, startling them, you are asking if something happened, an important member of the judo team was injured. The kid's head needed 25 stitches, 25 stitches, they should not have done that. They took the kid away. Then one of those 10 used a wooden stick to hit the kid on the head. Is this something a student should do? I can't feel at ease in this place anymore. I am taking the kids from the judo team to another school. As soon as the principal heard this, he hastily exclaimed, Mr. Shin, that is right, the student council is trying to catch those students. Right, the other person nodded, affirming, yes, of course. In his heart, the principal calculated Mr. Shin can win several medals a year. I can't just let him leave. So he smiled and comforted Mr. Shin, first, let us sit down and talk. Sung-gil coldly declared, I do not care who they are or what their background is, but I hope that before this semester ends, you expel them from this school for me. The classroom hallway was filled with lively noise. Jong-hyuk walked into his classroom with his backpack. He sat down at his desk and hung his bag beside him. He took out a yellow notebook. Jong-hyuk looked around and thought, the classroom is still empty. Let us reorganize the plan a bit. First, the victim. The person who killed me could be an accomplice, or even the perpetrator who killed Mom. His voice, the tattoo on his wrist, the smell of wood. He muttered while writing. By now, the teacher and seniors must have intervened. The classroom door opened, and Soyeon walked in, startling him. As soon as he saw her, he remembered that girl. It was the girl from the other day. So she is a classmate. He said awkwardly, "Student, if I have bothered you in any way, I apologize." But the reply was a silent atmosphere that made him freeze. He held his head, lamenting, "Damn, it is that habit of talking like an old man again." Then, as if realizing something, he looked up. So he understood, she is wearing headphones, so she probably did not hear me. He stared intently at the headphones she was wearing. Then he looked at the device. He glanced at the brand and thought, that is a Walkman, such nostalgia. So Jong-hyuk called out loudly, startling her, "Hey, friend, does that have a recording function?" She took off her headphones, turned her head, and asked, "You are?" He smiled and introduced himself. "I am the one who climbed over the wall the other day." She hesitated and replied, "Hello?" He chuckled awkwardly, apologizing. "I was a real nuisance back then, was not I? Sorry." She shook her head and replied, "No, I quickly called the police, so it became quiet there right away." Hearing this, his eyes lit up and he asked, "Called the police? What time did you call? How did you report it?" She replied, "I called right after you ran off, I think." "Don't worry, I did not say you jumped over my fence." Jong-hyuk, with his professional habit, clenched his hands and exclaimed, "You should have said it, that way, the evidence would be more credible." In his heart, he could not help but think, why do I feel so regretful? Soyeon pointed worriedly at his head and asked, "Is your head okay?" Jong-hyuk confidently replied, "It is fine, perfectly fine." Just then, a group of students entered the classroom and asked, "Hey, are you okay?" The leader approached with a sarcastic tone, "Our athlete Choi Jong-hyuk is doing great, is not he?" He gritted his teeth and cursed, "Some bastard hit us. It is truly infuriating." Jong-hyuk heard this and his heart blossomed with joy. Was it the seniors or the teacher who did it? Who is so great? The other was furious and ordered, "Get up, you coward." Suddenly, Jong-hyuk chuckled. Seeing this, he gritted his teeth and questioned, "What are you laughing at?" While he was asking, Jong-hyuk stood up, taller than him by a head, making him look up. "I asked what you were laughing at." Jong-hyuk scoffed coldly, "That is right, I am laughing, you dog. You guys ganged up on me, that is what is truly cowardly." He pointed to his bandaged head and asked, "Do you see this? Don't you think this kind of injury could be fatal?" The other mumbled angrily, "Damn it, why is he so tall? But if I leave him alone like this, the 12th graders will also beat me." He immediately pulled out a large box cutter and yelled, "You dog, you want to die, do not you?" Jong-hyuk saw this, gritted his teeth, and lightly massaged his neck. He frowned and said, "You are beyond help." The thug immediately lunged with the knife. Jong-hyuk stared at the blade, thinking, then I do not have to worry anymore. He quickly ducked, dodging the blade. Jong-hyuk smirked, "Not bad." He quickly reached out and grabbed the other's neck. The box cutter immediately slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. Outside the classroom, many students gathered, chatting, "Someone's fighting. It looks like Choi Jong-hyuk from the judo team and that bully." Jong-hyuk's face darkened, and he coldly asked, "Do you think I am scared of things like this?" So I tattled. He gasped for air, flailing his arms and crying out, "Let go, I can't breathe." Jong-hyuk was filled with murderous intent, and a flicker of hatred gleamed in his eyes. Just then, Soyeon ran over and shouted, "Jong-hyuk, he is going to die." He reluctantly threw him down, thinking, no trouble allowed. "Consider yourselves lucky." He threatened loudly, "Listen to my warning, if you bully anyone else, you are going to have trouble with me." He clutched his painful neck, which had been squeezed, but still aggressively yelled, "You bastard, just you wait." Jong-hyuk swung his hand and asked, "Get lost, or should I make you?" They immediately turned and ran away in fear. He returned to his desk, muttering, "My head hurts so much, it is such a pain." The classmates who witnessed it all were dumbfounded. After a while, the dismissal bell rang. The teacher entered the classroom, stood at the podium, and said, "Don't fall asleep anymore, stand up, class is over, class president." The class president stood up and shouted, "Attention, greet the teacher." The whole class greeted in unison, when suddenly the teacher frowned and glanced over, "Good afternoon, sir." Jong-hyuk, as if sensing the gaze, looked up. But the teacher simply took his ruler and books and left the classroom. Jong-hyuk thought in surprise. I am this injured and the teacher did not say a word, Mr. Shin must have said something to the principal. That was a look of disdain, was not it? Well, this is an era where people do not distinguish between achievement and character. He must think I am just another student like everyone else. Suddenly, the teacher stopped and asked, "Oh, that is right, you all know there is a test tomorrow, right?" The whole class groaned. "What, sir, another test?" He walked out of the classroom, coldly replying, "Too noisy. Go prepare for the test." Jong-hyuk froze. Wait. He looked down at the paper full of names and wondered, test. He was stunned to realize, taking a test with a head injury at this age. Jong-hyuk panicked and slammed his face on the desk, crying out, "A test! I am over 40 and I am still taking tests." He sadly remembered, that is right, my school is not just famous for judo, but also for academics. I remember after I stopped judo, because we had tests every 2 weeks. So I was very tired for a short period. The reason I was only tired for a short period was because, when I got to 12th grade, I pulled myself together and studied like crazy. Luckily, I am also smart. Jong-hyuk remembered exclaiming while reviewing. Easy, he thought to himself. If I had not worried about food and clothing and signed up as a patrol officer, I might have studied for and passed the Police Academy entrance exam. He regained his composure, picked up a book, and started studying. Oh well, it is fine. It is just a 10th grade level test. But as soon as he finished reading the first page, he fell into confusion. He sighed. Were these problems really that hard back then? Jong-hyuk closed the book and decided, I need to review. I have forgotten too much. First, I still do not know the scope of the test. He turned and saw classmates studying intently. Jong-hyuk had an idea and smirked. He determined that is him. Jong-hyuk then approached and greeted, "Hello? Excuse me, but can I ask you something?" Suho looked up. "Me, yes, what is it?" Jong-hyuk smiled and asked for a favor. "About tomorrow's test, can you tell me the scope of the test? I would be immensely grateful if you could also show me your notes." His actions drew the attention of Soyoung next to him. Suho asked blankly, "Immense gratitude for what?" Jong-hyuk quickly gave an awkward laugh and explained, "It means I would be very grateful." He sweated and replied, "Okay, I understand." Jong-hyuk praised, "Excellent, then let me know by lunchtime, student." Realizing he had misspoken, he quickly patted Suho's shoulder and corrected himself. "Ah no, good friend." The other heard it and repeated in surprise, "Friend, good friend." At lunchtime, the students all took out their food. Close friends gathered in groups, chatting and laughing together. Jong-hyuk also pulled out a kimbap and ate it. He walked to his classmate's desk and mumbled, "Where did this friend go?" He looked around, searching. Not seeing anyone, he scratched his head in doubt. He was just sitting here a moment ago. Soyoung appeared behind him and asked, "Who are you talking about?" Jong-hyuk pointed at the desk and replied, "The friend who sits at this desk." She replied, "If you are looking for Suho, he was just outside the store. But he was taken away by some thugs." Jong-hyuk heard this and gritted his teeth, cursing, "Damn it, I have to go find him quickly." She quickly chased after him, shouting, I will help you too." Jong-hyuk opened the cafeteria door, searching. He hurried to another place to search, and Soyoung also helped search around. She went to the garbage collection point and muttered, "He is not here either." Both shared the same thought. No, could he be on the rooftop? At the same time on the rooftop, Suho was clinging to the railing. His face was bruised, his eyes lifeless. Jong-hyuk was running noisily up the stairs. Jong-hyuk and Soyoung pushed open the rooftop door and rushed in. He looked around and mumbled, "He is not up here either." He turned and asked, "Where did he go?" She replied, "Maybe he went back to class first. Let us check the classroom." The two were about to turn back to class, when Jong-hyuk suddenly spotted the person he was looking for. Jong-hyuk was stunned to see Suho leaning against the wall. Jong-hyuk called out in shock, Suho." He looked up, revealing a bruised face, and said, "Jong-hyuk, I am sorry I could not keep my promise. The thugs suddenly took me away, so I had no other choice. I am truly sorry." Jong-hyuk and Soyoung helped him up, brushing off his clothes and saying, "Your clothes are all dirty. I am the one who should be apologizing." He gritted his teeth and cursed, "They took out their anger on you because I beat them. A bunch of scumbags worse than dogs. I have to give them a good beating." Just then, his stomach rumbled. He held his stomach and chuckled awkwardly. "I probably can't beat them now. Sorry, I thought 2 kimbap rolls would be enough." Both of them stared blankly at him. He smiled awkwardly and offered, "Do you guys want to eat rice cakes after school?" Coming out of the shop, Soyoung was surprised. "You two eat a lot." He smiled and rubbed his stomach, replying, Yeah, I was starving all afternoon. Jong-hyuk and his new friend sat on a bench in the park, reminiscing. Before the regression, my body was almost useless, so I could not even manage to eat a full portion. It has been a long time since I have been able to eat freely like this. Jong-hyuk finished a sip of coffee and praised, the coffee from the vending machine is still the same. Soho turned and asked, my mom says kids who drink coffee won't grow tall. You are already tall, so you do not need to worry about that, right? Jong-hyuk laughed loudly, you innocent kid, coffee has nothing to do with height. Soho chuckled and asked again, really? Jong-hyuk looked at him and suddenly asked Soho, you must have been very tired because of those thugs lately, right? Soho was stunned when he heard that. He bowed his head silently, not answering. Jong-hyuk patted his shoulder reassuringly, don't worry, from now on, they won't bother you anymore. Soho hesitated, how? Jong-hyuk smiled confidently, because I will turn everything upside down, so they can't do bad things anymore. Both Soyoung and Soho exclaimed in unison, what do you mean? Jong-hyuk said with a determined tone, this old man, no, I am about to turn the whole world upside down. Soho, I just need a little help from you. The next day at the subway station, passers-by reading the morning paper all cursed, oh dear, it is ruined, completely ruined, are kids these days doing these things instead of focusing on studying? My son probably won't encounter such things, right, those damned brats. Jong-hyuk smirked, the morning atmosphere is truly refreshing. Everyone at the subway platform was engrossed in reading the news. At the school, reporters ran up with cameras, questioning, I am a reporter. I am here to get more news. Why are you stopping us? The teacher stopped them. I told you I have not heard any announcements. From the school. Many reporters were swarming the school gate. Jong-hyuk saw this scene and praised, wow, that is fast. The reporters immediately noticed him. His head is bandaged. Student, was that wound caused by thugs? Jong-hyuk walked past. While the teacher was trying to stop the charging reporters, student, just talk to us for a moment. Younga was still pressing, could you share a little about the thug's behavior? Jong-hyuk looked at him, secretly assessing. Reporter Park Younga looked so stressed when he was young. Did he wear glasses since then? Jong-hyuk became interested and stopped to ask, sir, what is wrong? He immediately yelled, hey, get to class now, what are you standing around for, kid? Jong-hyuk nodded and continued walking, yes. He then turned back to block the group of reporters, hey, I told you not to enter. Jong-hyuk smirked, thinking, this opening is perfect. At the newsroom, a shipper arrived with a package. I am delivering for reporter Park Younga. Younga looked up and replied, that is mine, thank you. He opened the box and mumbled, a cassette tape and a letter. Is it an anonymous package? Who would send these things? After reading it, he could not help but yell, what? A high school student extorted 50 million won by classmates. He continuously typed and loudly cursed, this amount of money is enough to buy a house, those bastards, truly heartless. Those trash must think those juvenile protection laws will help them escape. If this news makes the front page, you are all dead. Back to reality, Younga was still trying to get news. Hey student, the one with the bandage, was it the bullies who did that to you, right? Jong-hyuk smiled and turned to ask, sir, what is wrong? But was urged by the teacher, don't mind them, just go inside. He nodded and continued walking, yes sir. The teacher was still trying to stop the reporter, hey, I told you not to enter. Jong-hyuk took out the newspaper and quickly read it. He smiled and praised, reporter Park, you had talent from a young age, huh? A teacher held up a ruler and asked, hey, Jong-hyuk, what are you holding? He bowed and greeted, sir, good morning. This is this week's newspaper. The teacher became suspicious, don't tell me, it is you. He feigned surprise and asked back, me, what about me? He avoided eye contact and replied, never mind. Give me that newspaper and go back to class. He nodded obediently, yes. After walking past the teacher, he smirked confidently. I bet that news also reached the other teachers, which is why the department head's expression was so grim. In the hallway of the teaching building, the judo group, led by Dongik, approached and called, Jong-hyuk. Jong-hyuk, holding a stack of newspapers, looked up and greeted, seniors. Then he handed a newspaper to the student beside him. Here, take this, read it, and share it with your friends. Dongik came closer and asked, why are you distributing these newspapers? He also handed him a copy and replied, actually, I gave this news to the reporters. I can't stand those bullies anymore. Dongik read the newspaper and asked, these bastards, we will deal with them properly. But putting this in the newspaper will cause a lot of trouble, you know, why did you still do it? He frowned and sighed. Then he loudly and vehemently explained, because if you resist, You will just get bullied more. The seniors were all startled when they heard that. Jong-hyuk began to explain, if you beat up those bullies, do you think they will admit their mistakes? We all know those shameless guys will just accuse you in return. Saying that members of the judo club beat them. He continued to explain, at that time, not only would you have to pay the price for your actions, but the coach would also give you a proper scolding. Dong-gik heard this and became scared. You are right, the coach will. He passionately continued his reasoning. And what about college? Aren't you going to participate in the Olympics, instead of sacrificing your own future to punish the bullies? It is better to let the adults handle it clearly. After all, they know how to handle these things cleanly. The seniors nodded after hearing him. That is true. Dong-gik read the newspaper and exclaimed, this story is even on the front page. Jong-hyuk clenched his hands with confidence and said, and if people read it, they won't hesitate to speak up about this issue. This is also an opportunity for other bullied students to gain courage, to report to the police. In this way, the victims will also feel protected. In the classroom, everyone had taken their seats. Suho ran over and asked Soyoung, did you see the reporters outside the gate just now? She replied, yes. She stated her hypothesis. Perhaps informing the reporters about that issue is step 2 in Jong-hyuk's plan yesterday. He nodded, right, but I do not think this method will solve the problem. If everyone forgets about it, it will all be for nothing. Just then, Jong-hyuk appeared, patted Suho's shoulder, and asked, what are you guys talking about? Both of them called out in unison, Jong-hyuk. Soyoung asked worriedly, are you sure we do not need to call the police? He shrugged, eating kimbap, and replied, no need. They will probably come looking for us today anyway. In his heart, he thought joyfully, the issue being on the front page is like monopolizing the entire newspaper. The police can't ignore it. Because if the district police chief does not get involved, there will be big trouble. He gave a thumbs up and winked. Now there is only one last step, but we have to prepare for the test first. Suho was comforted and smiled, all right. Recalling yesterday, Jong-hyuk pressed the record button on the story Suho told. It all started when I was in middle school. I had to work part-time at the gas station and hand out flyers. Because my money was not enough, they also started taking over 3 million won from me at that time. Jong-hyuk played the role of interviewer, asking, did they take money from other students? He replied, usually they took at least 100,000 won each month, and each class would have about 2 students. Like that. Jong-hyuk heard this and cursed, damn it, if they took money from about 40 students, that means they exploited 50 million won each year. That is crazy. So he turned and patted his shoulder, asking Suho, do you want them to be punished? Suho replied with a bright smile, yes I do. Back to reality on test day, the test papers were distributed. Jong-hyuk quickly read through it, and was surprised, this test really has few questions. I see, so the teacher wants the students to leave before the police arrive, so they can't interrogate anyone. The teacher gritted his teeth and urged, you students at the back of each row collect the papers, hurry up, he thought smugly, but your efforts will be in vain. Suddenly, the teacher shouted loudly, Jong-hyuk, come up here. He pointed at himself blankly, yes, me. He walked up to the podium and heard the teacher scold, I told you to choose a few. If you just guess the answers, then take it back, I won't grade your paper. Jong-hyuk smirked, but I solved it myself, sir. The teacher was about to say, but he cut him off, sir, I studied really hard this time. Soyoung even tutored me. He was about to continue scolding when Soyoung raised her hand, hey, do not do that. She stood up and testified, sir, I can testify that Jong-hyuk really studied very hard. Would you like to see the notebooks we used to study? Suho also stood up and raised his hand, saying, sir, I also studied with Jong-hyuk yesterday. The teacher heard this and asked doubtfully, what? Jong-hyuk then gave a silly laugh, even athletes can do math, sir. Suddenly, the classroom loudspeaker blared, the school announces, Choi Jong-hyuk from class 1-3, Choi Jong-hyuk from class 1-3, please report to the principal's office immediately. Jong-hyuk winked and smiled, I will be back in a bit, sir. At the principal's office, many student parents were gathered, and murmuring voices filled the air. Jong-hyuk approached, saw the scene, and thought to himself, look, they have lost their patience, have not they? The parents, seeing him, immediately directed their anger, is that him? How did he get here so fast? He is so muscular, he could probably wrestle a bear. Who could possibly fight him? A female parent scolded, aren't you ashamed to do such a thing? Jong-hyuk heard this and thought, how can she say that without shame? I really have to go through this. The teacher rushed over to persuade, madam, let me talk to him. Jong-hyuk, it is best you say you do not know anything. It is nothing. If they ask, just say no, understood? Don't make a big deal out of it. Jong-hyuk heard this and his face darkened, his eyes filled with disgust. Seriously, and you call yourself a teacher? He continued to walk, and the teacher scolded, Hey, I am still talking to you, answer quickly. He pushed the door open and smiled coldly. I do not quite understand what you mean, but alright. Jong-hyuk looked inside and saw two people sitting. As soon as he saw them, he was surprised. Jong-do frowned and glared. The other police officers also frowned and looked over. Seeing this, Jong-hyuk smiled. Look who it is. Jong-do picked up a cup of water and took a sip. Hey, do something about those scowling faces. Getting scolded by the boss is part of the job. Jeong-soo crossed his arms, distressed, and sighed. This whole thing is too troublesome, boss. You know better than anyone that it takes a lot of time and effort to deal with a school violence case. But you do not get anything in return. Jong-hyuk stepped forward and pulled the door shut. He cheerfully said loudly despite being injured, Good morning, detectives. Jong-do glanced over suspiciously. How do you know we are detectives? Jong-hyuk shrugged. How could I not know? You see, my dad was also a detective. Although he said that, in his heart he thought, we are not from the same jurisdiction, but I know these people from a few joint investigations. I am really happy to see them. Jong-do leaned back in his chair and laughed. Your father was also a detective. To have a son your age, he must have retired a bit early, right? Jeong-soo tactfully stood up and pointed. Sit here. Jong-hyuk politely nodded immediately. Well, he worked at the Kangdong police station, but he passed away in an accident. He was startled and looked up. I am sorry to hear that. Jong-hyuk gave an awkward smile and waved his hand. It was a long time ago. It is fine. The confused chief of police asked further, So what was your father's name? He calmly stated, Choi Do-kil. Jong-do jumped up in surprise. What, Choi Do-kil, the kid who used to be a wrestler? Jong-hyuk looked blankly and asked back, You know my dad? He rolled his eyes once and nodded. Now I understand. Yes, you look a bit like Do-kil. Jong-do was more cheerful and excited. What a coincidence. How's your mom these days? He smiled broadly and replied, She is fine, thanks. This ended faster than I thought. The chief of police curiously added, But do you know why you were called here? Jong-hyuk sternly pointed to his head. I know, sir. I am here because of this. I read the morning paper. He confidently pointed and praised. That is what a detective's son should be like. He asked directly, You want to see me so I can help you identify the victims? Do not you? I used to be a detective too, of course I know. Suddenly, both police officers became more focused and interested. Look at that. So, what do you know? Jong-hyuk closed his eyes and assumed a cold demeanor. But first, he stated in a loud and frank voice, I want to sue those bullies for attempted murder, aiding and abetting, and causing injury from group assault. After hearing this, everyone laughed, but Jong-do observed coldly, You must be the one who provided information to the press. Jong-hyuk, not knowing what to do, just scratched his head awkwardly. He immediately stood up straight. Jong-hyuk then bowed deeply in apology. I apologize for bypassing procedures. He spoke louder and clearer than ever. Although bullying is out of control, the teachers have not handled it seriously, so this is the only way. I am truly sorry. Jeong-soo stifled a laugh and glanced over. Actually, we thought you kids were just messing around, so. Jong-do, who had been silent, suddenly burst into a bright laugh. This mischievous kid, I thought it was too complicated after seeing the news, but it seems your father taught you these things. You did very well. He quickly comforted, It is fine, you did great. You have to create an advantage for yourself when you are at a disadvantage. Jong-do then approached, confirming further, So you want to do this? Jong-hyuk nodded slightly. I know it is bothersome, but I think it would be better if you rounded up the bullies who hit me before calling the victims. That way, they might report without fear of retaliation. He intentionally teased the chief of police, and since the superiors have already noticed this case, why do not you all do a good job for your performance this season? Jong-do smirked with delight. If I had not known beforehand, I would have thought you were a seasoned detective. So you want to negotiate with those bullies, right? Jong-hyuk explained seriously, Yes, because they will eventually be charged with attempted murder. I can basically demand as much money as I want. I plan to demand 20 million won in compensation from the one who hit me with a weapon, and 10 million won from his subordinates. He immediately took out a piece of paper. That is just enough for the limit. Yes, here's a list of the bullies' names and the victims' statements. Jong-do confidently pointed and praised. You are really something, are not you? You said your name is Jong-hyuk, right? I will definitely keep a spot for you, so you better become a detective. Okay, Jong-hyuk greeted respectfully. Yes sir, that is my dream. The chief of police turned and ordered his team members. Alright, Detective Kim, bring all the parents of the assaulters in here. Detective Park, go get all the statements and return to the police station. The rest of you will request the principal's cooperation. Bring the assaulters in here. Jeonsa seriously coordinated. Parents, please step inside. Alright. The parents rushed in, yelling, Why this kid, what did you say to them? Detective, what does this mean? I will sue you for defamation, if you dare to utter any nonsense. I will sue you to rot in jail. Jong-do quickly raised his hand to calm the situation. Now, if you do not want your children to go to jail, please keep quiet. They panicked, shouting loudly, Jail? Why would my child go to jail? He is the one who reported it, is not he? Detective, everything that kid said is a lie. Jong-do irritably pointed at the victim. Hey, look at his head, he had to get 25 stitches. This can be considered attempted murder. He frowned and clapped his hands, explaining further. But if you cannot resolve this clearly very serious accusation, your children will be sentenced to imprisonment. Fortunately, this student has not officially sued anyone yet, so you should kneel and beg for your children, not threaten him. The parents' faces fell, causing Jong-do to growl. He has not filed a lawsuit yet, but if he sues your children when they become adults. The chief of police approached and said loudly, then they will be sent straight to jail because juvenile law will no longer be able to protect them. A parent then pleaded. Oh my goodness, detective, what should we do? Jong-do tiredly pointed at the victim. Don't ask me, ask him, he is the victim. Think carefully, if you negotiate right now, you will receive support from juvenile law. They looked blankly and repeated the two words, negotiate. Jong-hyuk gave a sinister look around. Sir, what is the average compensation for attempted murder, aiding and abetting? Jong-do understood and smiled back. Attempted murder is 25 million won, while aiding and abetting is 15 million won. He confidently raised his hand. You heard that. They were annoyed but tried to restrain themselves. You bastard, I mean you. Jong-hyuk seriously reminded. I will not let it go without money. From what I know, if you fail to negotiate, your children will be tried and punished as adults. He turned and deliberately reconfirmed. Right, sir. The parents looked blank, not knowing what to say. Jong-hyuk smiled confidently, waving his hand in the air. I almost felt sympathetic, seeing the expressions on your faces. Well then, since you also have to compensate other victims, I will give you a small discount on my compensation. They vaguely asked again, other victims. Jong-hyuk smirked sinisterly. It has already been published in the newspapers. Your children stole money from 40 other students. He opened his mouth wide and smugly added, Oh, even if you compensate them, your children will still be sent to the juvenile detention center, won't they, sir? Jong-do quickly nodded. Yes, this will depend on the outcome of the trial. Because this is a serious crime, it may not end with just a suspended sentence. After saying that, Jong-hyuk turned to leave. Well then, if you will excuse me. Oh my God, what am I going to do? The student thugs immediately ran out and blocked the door. Jong-hyuk, unafraid, stood up straight and threatened. Did you all hear that? It was unfortunate to meet you, and I hope I never have to see your ugly faces again. Perhaps my wish will come true. He confidently clenched his fist and left in triumph. This is how you handle real-life problems, brats. After walking for a while, Jong-hyuk saw Suho sitting in the classroom. He smiled gently at his friend. Jong-do left with Jong-hyuk, seeing him off. It has been too long, Ms. Ko. You must have been very surprised. She replied gently. Yes, I thought Jong-hyuk had gotten into trouble again. He quickly reminded, waving his hand in doubt, since all the paperwork has been signed and sealed, the lawyer from the other side will send you the agreed amount of money. Jong-hyuk's mother nodded repeatedly with confidence. I understand, but I do not feel too good about it. After all, they are still students. The chief of police cheerfully confirmed, they got what they deserved. Don't worry about it, Ms. Ko. He quickly patted Jong-hyuk's shoulder. By the way, this kid is quite something. You must be very proud. She chuckled and reminded, you do not know how mischievous he is. Jong-hyuk's mother proudly declared, with her head held high, but it seems he has straightened himself out lately. I am quite surprised. Hearing this, Jong-do laughed heartily and bowed. Well then, I will see you later, Ms. Ko. Have a safe journey. Jong-hyuk left, chatting animatedly with his mother. Mom, I bet you will be even more surprised when you see my test scores today. Really, you did not get the lowest score. Did you? Of course not, I ranked 15th. She became even more joyful and clasped her hands together. Really, that is wonderful, I hope you keep up the good work, Jonghyuk. Jonghyuk gave a number 1 sign. Just trust me, Mom. Her eyes welled up with pride. Has the boy finally grown up? Jonghyuk's mother immediately suggested, alright, I will go close the shop, so you go home. Tonight we will have grilled meat. Okay, he happily nodded along. Awesome, let us eat meat. On the other end of the line, he was constantly praised. This is a big case, Lieutenant Kim, but you did a great job. The media will be swarming with news tomorrow. For sure. The superiors are keeping an eye on this case, so you must ensure it is completed meticulously. Okay, Jeondu excitedly obeyed. Yes, boss. Jeonsu approached to tease, boss, this case could be your ticket to headquarters. I hope you do not forget me. Jeondu quietly left, not forgetting to remind, alright, that is enough joking. Let us finish this. He quietly looked out the window. That kid is truly amazing. Jonghyuk was walking confidently down the street, unafraid of anyone. Suddenly he grabbed his martial arts classmate by the collar. Jonghyuk, with a serious face, took down his opponent in a few seconds. His eyes were extremely fierce. The teacher stood seriously at the podium, announcing, everyone's grades for our class are in. Remember to check them. The whole class chorused, yes sir. Jonghyuk straightened his back confidently and smiled lightly. In the April test, I ranked 15th in class, then achieved 6th place, and after that, I ranked 3rd in May. He quickly turned and left his seat, and finally, I achieved 25th place school-wide in the university entrance mock exam. Jonghyuk closed his eyes, his confidence soaring. Perhaps I have gradually gotten more used to studying. Sungil asked suspiciously, are you sure you can continue training? He casually bowed, yes, coach. The doctor said I have fully recovered. He crossed his arms but was very worried. Alright, then start cleaning up with the others. Yes, sir. Sangmuk raised an eyebrow suspiciously. Mr. Shin, is it true that he ranked 25th in the entire school on the mock exam? Sungil coldly replied with no expression. I also find it hard to believe. He leaned in and whispered, teachers think he should focus on studying instead of training, just like the principal said, right? He confidently waved his hand. He is trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so just let him be. A friend spoke up blankly. What are you doing? You are staring at the uniform as if you have never seen it before. Jonghyuk started and turned. Oh, it is nothing. He quickly put on his uniform with a handsome face. Perhaps it is because I have been reunited with my old judogi. This is it, a new beginning. Afterwards, the floor mops were carefully soaked in water. Everyone immediately worked together to thoroughly clean the training area. Jonghyuk wiped and smiled confidently. I am no longer in an old and weak body. He diligently stretched more than ever. I will start a new life with this 17-year-old body. Jonghyuk focused intensely with a serious expression. My former body could not even compare to my current one. He ran faster than everyone else, always full of energy and rarely getting tired. Despite being tired, Jonghyuk still smiled with satisfaction. The teacher immediately shouted an order. Divide into groups of 2, start grappling. The students quickly formed groups to grapple. Both immediately greeted each other. Good luck, thank you, senior. Jonghyuk and his opponent reached out and took their stance. The other clenched his lips nervously. Jonghyuk, he has become very arrogant lately. The opponent smirked smugly to himself. I will teach him some basic manners with this match. He then grabbed Jonghyuk's collar. He quickly flung his hand away, reversing the situation. The opponent was startled by the too fast movement. However, he still took advantage and prepared to throw Jonghyuk down. He was startled and looked at everything again. Time slowed down again. Jonghyuk vaguely noticed a strange point. But senior, it seems to be exceeding the limits of a normal grappling match. He was so confused that he pondered for a long time. Jonghyuk quickly tripped his opponent. The opponent then tumbled to the ground and was pinned by him. Jonghyuk looked at his opponent in surprise. Damn, my body moved on its own. The other angrily scrambled up. You bastard. He quickly helped him up. My foot tripped. I am sorry, senior. The opponent refused to give up and challenged. Did you just warm up? Try again. Jonghyuk gave an awkward smile. Yes. Sungil quietly observed, saying nothing. Jonghyuk quickly realized, why is he using techniques on me again? He is clearly trying to pick a fight. He immediately resisted. But if I just lie down and take it, that would not be fair, would it? Jonghyuk clicked his tongue in annoyance. Oh well, here I go. The 2 coaches frowned, observing they are grappling. So why does Sungil keep trying to use techniques? I guess he wants to teach Jonghyuk a lesson as a senior. Jonghyuk angrily lifted his opponent into the air. From what I remember, this senior won a bronze medal at the judo competition held in 3 months. He also had enough skill to be selected as a reserve. For the national team. But could my vision be so sharp that I can see through the movements of someone who has played for the national team? Jong-hyuk smiled smugly, rethinking everything. Before I came back, in the past, 2/3 of my intestines were removed in surgery after being stabbed by a criminal. My body weight also dropped by half, making it harder to deal with criminals when there was a physical disadvantage. He quickly realized the reason behind it. That is why I forced myself to completely master judo techniques. Jong-hyuk's eyes widened with excitement more than ever. But above all, I have incredible physique, and also supervision. This is truly insane. He clenched his fists tightly with determination. In my current state, I can win an Olympic medal, and get into the police academy, and then. Jong-hyuk gritted his teeth, remembering, it is because of you that your mother died. I will find that bastard and tear him into 100 pieces. Sung-gil and his teammates gasped in surprise. My god, Jong-hyuk perfectly countered Sung-go's attack. The opponent immediately rushed forward and cursed, Hey, you, are you trying to pick a fight with me? Jong-hyuk pretended to scratch his head. I am sorry, I thought I was about to be taken down. So I reacted instinctively. Sung-gil quickly stepped in to mediate. Calm down. So you did not mean to do that, right? He gave an awkward smile and nodded. Yes, I really did not mean to. I apologize, senior. He turned and pointed, praising, Jong-hyuk, what was that just now? I remember telling you not to train when you are injured, Jong-hyuk stammered, but I did not. The coach grinned widely. That is right, what you did today proves it. You were afraid of losing your touch, so you practiced frantically by running and stretching. Right, that is why you could not focus and were not afraid of your senior, huh? Hearing this, Jong-hyuk bowed politely. I am truly sorry, senior. I know you were just trying to help me correct my posture. He deliberately shouted loudly for everyone to hear, but instead, I countered your attack. This action of mine was wrong, I am truly sorry. Sung-gil immediately waved his hand. Oh, forget about it. Alright, that is enough grappling for today. Now it is individual training, and Jong-hyuk, come see me for a moment. Afterwards, Jong-hyuk was summoned to the coach's office. Sung-gil confidently praised, I know you have been secretly training alone. He clasped his hands awkwardly. I am sorry, coach. He smiled brightly and scratched his head, but I could not help it, sir, because I wanted to warm up my body a bit. Hearing this, Sung-gil also smiled and reached behind his back. He quickly handed over a strange object. Here, try pulling this rubber tire as hard as you can. Immediately, Jong-hyuk pulled it far away, grimacing with effort. Sung-gil, startled, carefully observed every movement. Before his head injury, he only used a certain amount of force to pull the tire. He praised silently in his heart, but now, his reflexes, grip strength, and wrist strength have become much superior. Sung-gil approached worriedly. What kind of training regimen have you been following? Jong-hyuk innocently raised his hand and explained, just burpees, hand swings, and CrossFit, sir. The coach frowned and asked further, burpees and cross. What? He was startled by his blunder. These exercises only became popular after 2010. Sung-gil growled, is that so? I asked you what that is. He crossed his arms with an annoyed expression. Explain it to us in a way we can understand. Jong-hyuk awkwardly gave an embarrassed laugh. This is a popular type of exercise in the US. I needed a mat to do the exercises you taught, but I do not have a mat at home. So I looked for some exercises that could be done without one. Sung-gil nodded in acceptance. Alright, besides that, American Judo also has almost nothing to learn from. So why did you look for those exercises? Jong-hyuk confidently asserted, it is not from Judo, sir. They are actually exercises that football players do. The image of football players appeared. Sung-gil frowned and asked, football, is that the sport where you have to fight each other while holding a ball? He looked down and answered decisively, yes, coach. That is it, football players are amazing. Jong-hyuk spoke confidently and eloquently, they are like superheroes. Running 40 meters in an average of only 5 seconds, defeating opponents over 100 kilograms with just one finger, and jumping over an opponent 190 centimeters tall. Their training program includes burpees, hand walking, CrossFit, and similar exercises. Jong-hyuk solemnly recalled, when I was a police officer, I learned how to do these exercises because I wanted to utilize my atrophied muscles after suffering many injuries. Sung-gil continued to express his curiosity. So that is the training program for athletes who earn billions of dollars each year. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully for a moment. So that is why you suddenly changed your training methods. Jong-hyuk nodded with satisfaction. That is right, sir. Yes, sorry. Sung-gil suddenly remembered something and pointed upwards. Wait. He then turned to look at the coach. Afterwards, Jong-hyuk answered a phone call. He casually conversed in English. So, could you send me an email with the detailed data, please? Yes, thank you for your help. Both coaches stared wide-eyed, speechless. Jong-hyuk confidently turned and explained, they said they will send us the files via email soon. Sung-gil was continuously sweating worriedly. That is amazing. You can find their email address through that computer. But since when did you get so good at English? Unbelievable. He chuckled without appearing arrogant. I am just preparing for the global era, sir. Not only do I know English, I have also learned Japanese, Chinese, Russian, and Vietnamese to hunt down criminals who have fled the country. Sung-gil asked suspiciously. But what did you tell the NFL for them to give us the training program? Jong-hyuk confidently turned and argued, the training program is not entirely secret, sir. From their perspective, I guess they find it quite admirable when a high school student from halfway across the world wants to learn how football players train. Sung-gil happily looked at the other coach. What a great nation, their hearts are as big as their country. He solemnly made a suggestion. Coach, what about contacting famous judo schools in Japan? If we ask them to provide training materials, then... He quickly interrupted. That is amazing. Sung-gil was startled and asked further. Wait, do not tell me you know Japanese too. Jong-hyuk did not reply but just smiled. The sound of a printer printing documents immediately echoed. Jong-hyuk confidently answered without stumbling over words. Is this the NFL office? Yes, sir. I am printing the files they sent. Sung-gil happily leaned closer. Who would have thought a printer would be so useful? Is there any news from Japan? He quickly neatly arranged the documents. Nothing, sir. The schools in Japan do not want to share any materials. I have tried to contact them through various means. But it seems we won't get anything from Japan. The coach happily nodded. I knew that would happen. They are known for not being open about these things. Jong-hyuk quickly explained. Anyway, I have already translated part of the NFL materials. The file is very large, so it will take some time to print and translate everything. He gasped in surprise even more. But there is already so much. Jong-hyuk replied seriously and very confidently. Yes, sir. There are also many sports medicine documents like rehabilitation and first aid, so it will take at least 2 months to translate everything. Sang-muk, who had been silent until now, could not take it any more and yelled, What? Rehabilitation, first aid, is that true? Jong-hyuk did not hesitate to point. Yes, sir. If you look here, they also share some bandaging techniques. He stared wide-eyed as if in disbelief. It is all in English, so I do not understand a single word. But Mr. Shin, we must prioritize translating this material immediately. I know the training program is important, but... Sung-gil smiled contentedly, cutting him off. I agree. We do not know when or how you will get injured, so it is best to find a way to apply these methods as soon as possible. Sang-muk happily agreed. Right. Jong-hyuk quietly observed, Coach Park Sang-muk. He fondly recalled everything. He was the technical coach, doctor, and manager of the judo team. But I clearly remember he was quite suspicious, a person who met with students' parents even more than Coach Shin. The sky quickly turned to twilight. Sung-gil happily praised, Well done, Jong-hyuk. Take the documents we received today home with you. He held them tightly in his hand. Yes, coach. Jong-hyuk then quickly left for a while. Both coaches looked after his retreating figure. Sung-gil immediately turned and suggested, Mr. Park, how about a cup of coffee? Sang-muk immediately took a sip of coffee with him. Sung-gil asked worriedly for his opinion. Sang-muk. He looked over blankly. Yes, he hesitated to express. About Jong-hyuk. Do you think we should let him study instead of keeping him in the judo club? Sang-muk clicked his tongue and looked elsewhere. I am not sure. He seems like a completely different person after the injury. I do not know what to think. Why not wait until the camp training season? Anyway, he has improved a lot in using techniques. Sung-gil smiled brightly and smugly. I thought so too. He might become better at judo than studying. He left, but did not forget to remind, I hope you will conduct regular medical checkups for him until the camp training season begins. Yes. Afterwards, Sang-muk gritted his teeth in annoyance. That hateful Sung-gil. He clenched the coffee cup in his hand. He is a senior, but he was defeated by a younger student. I received money from his parents so he could get into the starting lineup more easily. Sang-muk's face darkened, and he glared. Things will get more complicated if Jong-hyuk keeps standing out like this. Should I say that we need to focus on studying instead of training? No, the camp training season is coming soon. By then, he won't have improved much anyway. He angrily threw it into the trash and left. Damn it, making money is so hard. Jong-hyuk happily opened the door. I am home. He took a refreshing breath. What is this smell? Braised beef ribs, not pork. Jong-hyuk's eyes widened in surprise. Mom, did you win the lottery or something? It is like a feast. She smiled brightly. I wish. I took out my savings. Jong-hyuk quickly understood the problem. Mom's savings. His mother smiled brightly and said loudly, yes, 10 million won. Jong-hyuk then sat down on the ground. Oh, you saved so much, Mom. She nodded as if she had won the lottery. A lot, right. If everything goes according to the investment plan that Auntie Suk told me about, then we should move to a better house. He exclaimed in surprise. Investment. Jong-hyuk's mother excitedly confirmed. Yes, do you remember Auntie Suk? She said we should invest in buying gold and US dollars at this time. Well, you do not need to worry about it. Just try some. He looked elsewhere with a serious expression. No way. Jong-hyuk then sternly asked, Mom, did you talk about Dad with her? Did you talk about the compensation I received recently? She replied carelessly, yes, we are very close. She also knows everything about investing. Hearing this, he became even more suspicious. That Song Yangja, she is acting faster than I thought. I have to find a way to catch her. The next morning, customers lined up to order 2 dried squid kimbap rolls. Please, Jong-hyuk's mother cheerfully said, coming right up. Please wait a moment. The store became more and more crowded. Yangja stood by with her arms crossed, envious. She is making money like crazy. She then spat on the ground to show her contempt. Yangja was annoyed and resentful in her heart. Damn it, I had planned to get 3 million won from this scam. Who would have thought that the bastard's child would be close to the local police? She then gave a cunning smile. Not as much money as I wanted, but better than nothing. I will take all the money you earned this morning too, and head straight to Southeast Asia. Jong-hyuk now unexpectedly called. Hello, Lieutenant Kim, how are you doing these days? This is Choi Jong-hyuk. The other end replied, making him smile faintly. Ah, Jong-hyuk, what is up? The market became more and more crowded. Jong-hyuk's mother continued to sell without rest. She happily handed over goods, saying, enjoy your meal, customers. Yangja stood aside with her arms crossed, secretly smiling. Yes, enjoy it while you can, you bitch. Jong-hyuk's mother then ran out after a long while. Sister, Yangja, with a sweet pretense, asked all sorts of things. Is lunchtime over yet? Did you sell out all your gimbap? She smiled and nodded slightly. Yes, they have been selling like hotcakes lately. Shall we go? Yangja quickly suggested. Yes, let us go to the bank. She secretly chuckled to herself. Say goodbye to everything you have, including the money you just earned this morning. Jong-hyuk's mother was startled and looked back. Go, huh? He deliberately called out loudly, Mom. She was confused and stammered. Jong-hyuk, I thought you were busy training. What are you doing here at this time? Jong-hyuk awkwardly scratched his head. Well, Jong-do then appeared behind him. Good afternoon, MS. Ko. Jong-hyuk's mother laughed loudly and happily. Lieutenant Kim, what are you doing here? Hearing the name, Yangja was startled, her face darkening. That is Lieutenant Kim Jong-do. Jong-hyuk's mother casually turned to introduce. I told you about him, Sister Yusuk. Remember, he is Lieutenant Kim. He helped my son when. He immediately held up a pair of handcuffs and waved them in front of her. Yusuk, that is a nice alias, MS. Song Yangja. She was startled and shrieked. Hey, being a police officer does not mean you can oppress citizens like this. I am a law-abiding citizen. You can't just casually harass me. Jong-do angrily retorted. Law-abiding, my foot. Haven't you read the news? You are wanted for promoting real estate fraud. He continued to remind her with the handcuffs. Yangja immediately turned and ran away. Damn it. The chief of police immediately chased after her. Song Yangja. Do not waste any more time. Stand still, she smirked contemptuously, as if I would listen. Jiangsu quickly blocked the other end and said loudly, Where do you think you are going? Yangja was startled, not knowing what to do but stare blankly. A few minutes later, Jong-do approached and asked, So, Jong-hyuk. He gently patted his shoulder. Your mom's shop is nearby, right? Jong-hyuk nodded repeatedly. Yes, sir. The chief of police then whispered in his ear, I have sent investigators here. But we should also block all exits to be sure. Jong-hyuk smiled confidently, thinking about the plan. There are 2 escape routes Song Yangja can take. If we seal off both, she will be cornered. He himself pointed, strategizing for everyone. If we block the main road and the alley on the other side, she has nowhere to run. Jong-do proudly put his hand on his shoulder, confirming, You thought of all that yourself. He turned and ordered, Investigator Kim, Investigator Park, I need you 2 to stand guard at the 2 locations Jong-hyuk assigned according to the plan. The 2 police officers quickly nodded. Understood. Zhang De suddenly became suspicious. But how are you so sure? How do you know she is a wanted criminal? Zhang Hu clicked his tongue. I just found it strange that my mother was getting such high interest rates compared to the amount she invested. He explained seriously. But when I saw the face of that woman, the one who introduced my mother to this so-called high-interest investment, I realized she was the person on the wanted poster. The chief of police smiled with satisfaction. My God, I did not even know people still paid attention to wanted posters these days. Luck is smiling upon us. Zhang Hu's face became serious and somewhat sinister. Song Yangja has been on my radar for quite some time, even before she started this scam. She has managed to evade justice for so long because of her cunning, which was beyond even my imagination. But once all escape routes are blocked, this will be the end for her. Back to the present, the police, handcuffing her, announced Song Yangja, you have been arrested for real estate fraud and intentional fraud. Jiangsu glanced over and reminded, you have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. Zhang Hu's mother rushed over worriedly, sister, what is happening? She sadly reconfirmed everything, this is a joke, right? It is just a misunderstanding, right? Yangja irritably shook her hand away. Get moving, damn it, I should have taken the money and run yesterday. Hearing this, Zhang Hu's mother burst into tears and wailed, how could you do this to me? He immediately ran in to comfort her, Mom, calm down. Don't waste your breath on trash like her. She continued to cry louder and louder, I trusted you. Yangja, though arrested, still shouted loudly, I should have known when I found out her dead husband was a police officer. It is all because of that damn devil who brought me bad luck. Zhang Hu clenched his teeth and turned, What did you just call my mother? How dare you insult my mother? Zhang De then exclaimed in shock, Zhang Hu, brothers, stop him. Jiangsu quickly approached to comfort, Zhang Hu, calm down now. He placed his hand on the other's chest and reminded him, calm down. Zhang Hu ignored him and yelled, Hey, Song Yangja, I dare you to say that again. Sungchul came forward to intervene, Hey, snap out of it, Song Yangja, get in the car, quickly. He clenched his teeth in annoyance, ignoring everyone. Both police officers struggled to hold him back. He is as strong as an ox. What does he eat to be so strong? Good heavens, Zhang Hu still struggled to break free. I told you to come back. He then flung away Sungchul's hand that was holding him. He was immediately pushed, slamming hard into the wall. Zhang Hu firmly grabbed Jiangsu. He then threw him like a toy to another spot. Zhang Hu gritted his teeth and charged towards his opponent. His mother was stunned, not knowing what to do. Both Zhang and Yangja were frozen in place, dumbfounded. His mother quickly ran to stop him. Zhang Hu, stop, please. Zhang Hu came to his senses and turned to look. She pleaded with tears in her eyes, I am begging you, please stop for me. He was sad and helpless. Yes, Mom. I am sorry. Yangja then ran straight into the car. Hey, drive the car, hurry up. She screamed frantically. What are you sitting there for? Move your hands quickly, get me out of here. I said step on the gas. The car quickly sped off, not waiting for anyone. Zhang De clicked his tongue, sighing with fatigue. Luckily we arrived in time, otherwise she would have given her money to that woman. Just barely. Zhang Hu's mother choked with shame. Yes, I do not know how to thank you enough, Lieutenant. He also politely bowed in apology. Thank you, and I apologize to everyone for my irresponsible actions. Zhang De then glanced over. But these guys are all athletes, are not they? They could not even stop a kid. That is a bit embarrassing. The police chief smiled broadly and praised, Anyway, you have cracked another major case, Zhang Hu. Mess. With such a reliable son, you must feel very at ease. Hearing this, he quietly looked at his mother, reliable. Zhang Du excitedly shouted loudly, All right, we will investigate if there are any other victims, and report it to the district. Let us go. Zhang Hu kept pondering, a reliable son. That is right, I must have gone back to the past to protect my mother. He narrowed his eyes, calculating further. To do this, I need power, and to seize power in this dog-eat-dog world, there is one thing I must have at any cost, money. Very quickly, Zhang Hu followed Zhang De back to the police station. Another police officer yelled, Lieutenant, you need to see this. He nodded slightly, coming right away. Zhang De then pointed to another spot. Zhang Hu, can you wait at my desk for a moment? I will be right back. Zhang Hu politely replied, Yes, sir. He glanced around. These are the lieutenant's business cards. Zhang Hu quickly took the information card. I might need to use it sometime. I should take a few. The information on the card startled him. Zhang De then appeared, chirping cheerfully, Sorry to keep you waiting. The case file is almost done. Thanks, Jong-hyuk, you just added another successful case to my performance review report. He generously offered, do you want anything to eat, my treat? Jong-hyuk seriously confronted, I will eat whatever you buy, but I have a question. He confidently asked directly, what is with that card, investment fund manager? Jong-dae smiled brightly, looking at the information card, this one, right? What is wrong? Do you want to invest too? You are really old for your age. He clicked his tongue, sighing with exhaustion, but this guy is incompetent, Jong-hyuk. I sought him out because I wanted to invest some money, but he always talks as if the whole country is on the verge of an economic crisis. South Korea is experiencing unprecedented growth, yet he talks nonsense. After hearing this, Jong-hyuk was startled and remembered, I know him. This person is Park Tae-jae of the sovereign default theory. Jong-dae continued to babble. His nonsensical statements will sooner or later get him fired. I will find you a better investment manager. Jong-hyuk then stood up to stop him. No need, this person is fine, thank you. He turned away, confusing the chief of police, okay. Jong-hyuk smiled confidently, looking at the card, finally found a reasonable investment source. Tae-jae eloquently lectured, just like the Great Depression in America, we will all end up on the streets. Companies will go bankrupt one after another, and those lucky enough not to go bankrupt will also have to restructure on a large scale and tighten their spending. The boss angrily threw papers at him. You blockhead, do you want to be fired? He slammed the table and stood up. This again, a national default. Are you kidding me? I told you not to do this anymore, sir. Please calm down. How can I calm down looking at you like this? How dare you not listen to what I say, damn it. The boss yelled. Now the South Korean economy is at its peak. But you think our country will fall into national default. I did not realize you had a talent for writing science fiction. Listen here, the countries that have gone bankrupt are all fools. There is no way South Korea will fall into that situation. Afterwards, Tae-jae exited through the emergency exit, sighing slightly. He sat down sadly on the stairs. I want a cigarette so bad, even though I am not even a smoker. He has fallen, and Japan is a mess. There is no way South Korea can avoid this wave. Tae-jae rubbed his temples in pain. Even the government won't listen. Is there no one out there who thinks this is a very serious problem? A phone call suddenly came in shortly after. HS Fund Manager, Park Tae-jae is speaking. Hello, Mr. Park. Jong-hyuk smiled and introduced himself. My name is Choi Jong-hyuk. Tae-jae was startled and confirmed. Excuse me, who? He gave a slight smile. I am calling because I am interested in your theory of national default. I would like to hear more about it. Tae-jae's eyes suddenly lit up as if he had found gold. Are you free this weekend? Jong-hyuk continued to make the suggestion. If possible, I would like to meet you at the cafe in front of Dongil High School at 1 p.m. this Saturday. We can go into more detail after we meet. Afterwards he appeared in the teacher's lounge. Sung-gil scratched his head blankly, looking over. He approached worriedly. Hey, Jong-hyuk, what are you doing at my desk? Jong-hyuk explained in a stern voice. Hello, coach, I am just using the computer. Before he could finish his sentence, a blow landed on his head. He rubbed his head in annoyance. Ouch, why did you hit me, coach? The coach casually shrugged. I know you are fully recovered, kid. He irritably reminded. I just did not drag you to practice so you could focus on your test prep. Why are you here playing with my computer? Shouldn't you be in class? Jong-hyuk ignored him and explained. I had something I needed to check on the computer, sir. Sung-gil sternly asked. What is it? He quickly covered up. Nothing, sir. I was just thinking of sharing some study materials with the club members. Sung-gil smiled, calling his bluff. If it is nothing, why are you so quick to hide it? Anyway, their brains are all muscle. I bet they won't learn anything no matter what you do. Just leave them alone and let them train. Jong-hyuk smiled faintly. Anyway, doing this also helps with my own studies, so it is fine, sir. He knew very well in his heart, this is just an excuse to cover up what I am doing. But maybe I really should share study materials next time. Can I use the computer a little longer, coach? Sung-gil gestured with his hand. Aren't you still using it? You want to translate some of these study materials yourself since you still have time. He shrugged. You can do that after the test. Jong-hyuk seriously confirmed. I am completely ready for it, coach. He clicked his tongue. Quiet down, kid. The coach's office must be empty during the test. So you can use it to study. But do not tell anyone else, okay? He happily made a heart gesture. Coach, you are the best, Sung-gil then reminded, and I got a call from Lieutenant Kim a few days ago. He is ecstatic about making you a police officer. He sighed exhaustedly. Is there no day you can't cause trouble? I am only letting this slide because you got out of it in one piece. But if I see your head wrapped in bandages again, I will kill you myself. Got it? He awkwardly rubbed his forehead. Why do I suddenly have a headache? Sungil then brought over a water bottle and instructed, don't overdo it, remember. But just know that days of hellish training await you after the test ends. Jong-hyuk happily nodded, yes, coach. After he left, he plunged back into the computer. Now then, where was I? List of potential companies undergoing corporate rehabilitation. Jong-hyuk fondly recalled everything. Before regressing to the past, there were many cases where I had to work with the Financial Supervisory Service, when I was in the Regional Investigation Department, and the Intellectual Crime Department, where I was the team leader. I met a lot of fraudsters, thugs, loan sharks, bank employees, district representatives, and companies throughout my career. He sighed slightly with sadness. When you go to catch those who have committed economic crimes, you naturally learn the methods they used to end up in jail. What I am doing now is a database that includes what I have learned over the years. In other words, this is a prophecy of the South Korean economy. Soho now happily suggested, great, the test is finally over, let us go play. Jong-hyuk sighed, burying his face. After pulling all-nighters for days, I finally reorganized all the files and reviewed for this test. From now on, I will probably be even busier. Soho and Soyoung, innocently walking and chatting animatedly. What did you choose for question 10 on the test? Wasn't it the third answer? Really? Damn, I chose the fifth answer. He turned and smiled brightly. The test is over. Why are you still worrying? Soyoung clicked her tongue and closed her eyes, feigning wisdom. It is easy for you to say. But that was the only question I got wrong. Jong-hyuk smiled faintly at his friends. I do not know if it is because the test is over or because the bullies are gone, but they look quite happy. He observed his friend with happy satisfaction, especially Soho. He looks much brighter than before. Jong-hyuk then put an arm around Soho's shoulder and suggested, Soho, since the exam is over, let us go to the arcade. Soyoung enthusiastically agreed. I will go too. He lowered his face and whispered, that is right, I brought cash. Soho looked confused and confirmed, arcade. Jong-hyuk stood up confidently. Anyway, all we have done for the past few days is bury our heads in studying. We should go out and have fun when we have the chance, even if your head is cracked open. The next words left Soho and Soyoung blank. Or getting injured because you let yourself go a little will also become a memory to look back on later. He looked kindly at his friends. Of course, studying for a bright future is very good. Even I am trying to study harder than ever. Jong-hyuk pondered nostalgically, but these kids, they are not a middle-aged man who regressed like me. I want them to learn to cherish their youth while they still can. He confidently gave very stiff advice, enjoy your time and have no regrets. Only then, later, can we look back and say, that is right, we used to be like that too, and then laugh together over drinks. Soyoung narrowed her eyes and scoffed, you sound just like how my aunt talks after drinking with her friends. It is so boring. Jong-hyuk gave an awkward laugh. Do I sound like an old man? When you are older, you will understand. She continued to call his bluff. Even the ending is the same. Soho chimed in, I told you. I do not know any teacher with that name. His gaze was drawn elsewhere. The female students shouted worriedly, if you do not believe us, you can go to the teacher's office yourself and see. Who are you? Why are you loitering around our school? That could be a pervert. Let us go quickly. Soho and Soyoung then approach. What is wrong, Jong-hyuk? Wait for us. Tae-jaya anxiously spoke up to reassure. Wait a minute, I am not. Wait, please listen to me. Jong-hyuk coldly approached to question. Excuse me. He narrowed his eyes and pressed close to the other person. May I ask what business you have at our school? Tae-jaya immediately turned awkwardly. Excuse me. Soho quickly stepped forward to clear the air. Jong-hyuk, why are you looking at him like that? He crossed his arms and shrugged. Old habits die hard, you know. He looked blank. Tae-jaya immediately spoke up to dispel the suspicion. It is all just a misunderstanding. He honestly confessed, I am looking for a teacher. But all the students here say there is no one by that name. Do you know Mr. Choi Jong-hyuk? After hearing this, Jong-hyuk's face went blank. He and Tae-jaya stared at each other blankly, saying nothing. Jong-hyuk pointed to his own face. I am Choi Jong-hyuk. Tae-jaya innocently lifted his glasses. So you are Mr. Choi. Wait, you are a student. He immediately expressed his curiosity. If so, is Mr. Choi Jong-hyuk a high school student? Jong-hyuk was startled as if remembering something. Wait a minute, this voice sounds familiar. That was the voice on the phone earlier. Meet me this Saturday at 1 p.m., at the cafe, in front of Dongil High School. Taijia chuckled as if to dismiss it. I found it strange from the beginning, but I was really looking forward to this meeting. Oh well, let us just pretend this never happened. I was supposed to meet someone named Choi Jong-hyuk. He sadly prepared to turn away. I thought he was a teacher at this school, because he suggested meeting at a nearby cafe. It seems like it was a prank call or a mistake somewhere. Jong-hyuk stepped forward to comfort him. I understand your confusion. He went straight to the point. You are in a hurry. But no one is listening to you, and just when someone says they are interested in what you have to say, you realize that person is not what you expected. The last word startled the other person, who looked up. Is that right, Mr. Park Taijia? He smiled brightly and radiantly. It is a pleasure to meet you. I am Choi Jong-hyuk. But did not we make an appointment for Saturday? Jong-hyuk quickly subtly reminded his two friends. You too, I am sorry, but I will meet you at the arcade later. Okay, Soho and Soyoung asked worriedly. What about you? They stood still blankly for a moment. Are you sure about this? Do you need us to come with you? Jong-hyuk coldly walked ahead, leading the way. No need. This will only take a few minutes. Mr. Park, let us go. I will prove to you that your national default hypothesis is not wrong at all. In that cafe, Jong-hyuk and Park Taijia sat opposite each other. He coughed and began. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Park Taijia, Assistant Executive of the Human Resources Management Department at Seodong Security Company. Choi Jong-hyuk politely replied. It is a pleasure to meet you, sir. I am Choi Jong-hyuk, a first-year student at Dongil High School. In his heart he sighed. Although this meeting happened earlier than expected, oh well, I was going to meet Taijia anyway. Outwardly, he smiled warmly and said, I look forward to our future cooperation. Choi Jong-hyuk thought to himself, looking at it broadly, I have more time to persuade Park Taijia. He raised his teacup and asked, by the way. Park Taijia mumbled, my planned proposal, how did you know about it? Choi Jong-hyuk scratched his cheek and chuckled, I have an acquaintance in the industry, you see, so I happen to know about it. Park Taijia thought in disbelief. Then he secretly evaluated the boy. He is just a high school student, yet he has a network of financial market information. Could he be the son of a chaebol chairman? Now that I look closely, although his face is young, he exudes an incredibly powerful aura. Choi Jong-hyuk took a stack of papers from his bag. I have prepared some data in advance. Park Taijia still thought, if it were not for his school uniform, I would not be able to guess his true age at all. The paper he handed out had the title list of influential companies that will fall into the hands of managed shareholders. He explained its origin. Based on your theory of national default, I personally compiled this data along with my personal opinions. Park Taijia flipped through the papers and stared in apprehension. No way, this. Choi Jong-hyuk smirked. He asked him, do you like it? Park Taijia sprang up, his eyes still fixed on the papers in mental crisis. XX Group and OO Group are both on the list. Not only that, these corporations are all losing money at an alarming rate. Obviously, a few bankrupt companies are nothing compared to the collapse of the national economy. Choi Jong-hyuk pondered his expression. Although I added some slightly illogical words, the conveyed information remained intact, so Taijia's predicted scenario of national collapse will be proven feasible. Park Taijia slumped back into his chair and urgently asked, no way. So, what is the final scenario you predicted? He pressed his lips together, trembling. He must already have the answer in his heart. Choi Jong-hyuk could not bear it. He blurted out, IMF intervention. South Korea will receive emergency aid from the IMF, and economic sanctions will be applied. In 1997, Asia was suffering from a continent-wide economic crisis, and at the same time, South Korea was also directly affected by the crisis. The government implemented a policy of taking over $10,000 from the national income, and urgently selling it for foreign currency to join the OECD, causing South Korea to suffer another foreign exchange market crisis. And amidst the crisis, when everyone wanted to avoid facing it, the only person who dared to assert the risk of a nationwide recession was this man, Park Taijia. Choi Jong-hyuk picked up a sugar cube. He casually put it into his cup of water. Looking at the current situation in South Korea, I am sure this is the biggest inflation in history. If you go to the bank to borrow money now, no matter how much you want to borrow, it will be approved. There are no limits to the amount you can borrow. However, all problems arise from there. Because in the end, it is just an illusion of debt piled upon other illusions. Choi Jong-hyuk leisurely drank his instant coffee. So sweet, I think I put too much sugar. Park Taijia told himself, is this all the data he has? There's no way he would reveal everything he has at once. He wondered, you mentioned emergency aid, so how is that different from secret borrowing? Choi Jong-hyuk firmly asserted, that is right. The moment South Korea received that aid, this nation was considered bankrupt. Park Tae-jae nodded in agreement with his words. Economic blocks will begin to be implemented under orders from the IMF. Because they cannot be stopped, as South Korean companies are too weak, and the foreign exchange value will fall extremely low. A waiter suddenly interjected. Taking his cup, let me pour you some more. The glass swayed unstably on the plastic tray, like a harbinger of future collapse. Choi Jong-hyuk continued, furthermore, the government side is still full of arrogant people who believe that no inflation exists, even for a short period. They just need to overcome this crisis, thanks to such positive but meaningless words. Only when everything completely collapses will the whole country realize it. Then all efforts will be in vain. The glass shattered, as if confirming Choi Jong-hyuk's analysis. Both simultaneously asked the waitress, "Are you okay?" She nervously replied, "Yes, I am fine, I am sorry. This generation, no one is capable of stopping this from happening." He bent down and offered, "Let me help." She smiled and said, "Thank you. And I, one who knows the future, what I must do is bring hope to those living in the present." Choi Jong-hyuk took out a handkerchief and handed it to her, gently saying, "The glass shards are sharp, using this will help you avoid cutting your hand. A person who never gives up, even when knowing the future." Choi Jong-hyuk brushed his hands, put on his backpack, and prepared to leave. "The amount I propose is 100 million. Park Tae-jae immediately replied, "Invest 100 million, give me more time to think." He said goodbye to him. "I have another appointment, that is all for today. If you want to participate, just call me, I will proceed immediately." Park Tae-jae could only silently watch him leave. Choi Jong-hyuk entered an arcade. He greeted a man and a woman who had been fighting for who knows how long. "Sorry for making you two wait. It seems you both started already." Soho held his head and groaned. "Lost again," Soyeon complained. "Jong-hyuk, sit down quickly. I can't play with Soho, he is a bit bad at games." Choi Jong-hyuk smiled. "Being young, you learn games quickly, huh? However, when playing Tekken, do not expect to beat me. I am pretty much a pro." A new match began. Soyeon cursed, "What the heck, Jong-hyuk, why are you playing as badly as Soho?" But right after that, the male character on the screen delivered a kick and was immediately knocked down. Soyeon gasped. Soyeon looked at him with admiration. "How did you do that so well? Do it again." Choi Jong-hyuk proudly said, "See, I told you, you can't beat me at Tekken." The people around gathered, exclaiming, "He plays so well." Choi Jong-hyuk secretly praised himself. "My Tekken skills are still on fire." Chuckling with satisfaction, he remembered his earlier conversation with Park Tae-jae. Choi Jong-hyuk thought to himself, "What is Park Tae-jae doing now? He must be struggling. He is not the type to get flustered by situations like this, is he? But the outcome will not change, no matter how long he delays his decision. Hurry up, Park Tae-jae." A few days later, Choi Jong-hyuk sat in class and still had not heard any news from Park Tae-jae, feeling quite anxious. "Oh no, am I the one getting impatient now? I have definitely passed the time I needed to wait to flush him out again because I only gave him half the data. I also do not want to call him first because I am in control anyway. Don't tell me he took that data and ran off for good. There is no way that could happen." In the past, when Tae-jae was involved in a financial case, he seemed like a very naive person. He even defended the fraudster by saying, "There's no way they would do that just because. My head hurts so much, I wish someone would tell me what Tae-jae is planning to do." The teacher drew attention. "Class, settle down." He tapped the ruler on the desk. "The test scores you have been waiting for are in. For every point below 100, you get a corresponding number of strikes, so go in order by number." "Kong Manchik." The boy called covered his face with his hand in fear. The teacher still said coldly, "Your average score is 78, so 22 strikes for you. Brace yourself." He hit Kong Manchik on the butt. The entire class fell silent. Hitting one person, he continued, "Hurry up, line up in order of your number." But Choi Jong-hyuk sat below, suspicious. I remember my homeroom teacher was not usually so light-handed. He kept hitting and calling names. But it was true that he was secretly taking revenge on Choi Jong-hyuk with this trick. 80, come up here, 67 points, Ahyu, come up here, finally. Choi Jong-hyuk scored 95 points. 5 strikes, right? Come up here quickly, Jong-hyuk. He smiled wickedly. "You brat." Thanks to him, the school board got into an argument with the students' parents. "Let me punish you to remember this for life. Aung got out of the car. Yes, I hear you. Her uncle on the other end of the line asked, Why are you answering so slowly? Aung walked upstairs and replied, Dad, I am driving. Why are you calling me again? Aung's father scolded, Are you still doing that menial job? Aung said irritably, That is not a menial job. How many times have I told you? I am a senior private financial advisor. I am a professional financial advisor. Huisu did not listen to her words. Advisor, you do not even work at a bank, you are just a mediocre private advisor. That is not a respectable position. If it is not a menial job, then what is it? Aung controlled herself and asked, You did not call me just to talk about things like this, did you? Huisu then grumbled, Of course. When are you getting married? Look at your sister, do not you see your sister having a happy life with her husband? A woman should have a man to lean on. In the middle of his speech, he was cut off by Aung hanging up the phone. Dad, I can't hear anything you are saying, Dad. She thought disappointedly, Happiness in my mind and my sister's are different. Open your eyes and see, if I succeed, you will never be able to complain about me again. Changduk's voice rang out from behind the door, Here you are. The subordinates chanted in unison. Changduk waved, Hello, hello, Advisor Kwan, please sit here. This is a rental office. Aung sat down and asked, Is everything still okay? Changduk lazily said, You are too impatient, you did not even greet me and went straight to the point, huh? Alright, everything's fine. This time, we are investing in Hong Kong and buying a large amount of shares. Thanks to you, our talented staff are working very hard, so do not worry about anything. Park Taijai looked extremely haggard after just a few days. He greeted, Hello, MS. Advisor Kwan, is not it? Aung noticed, thinking to herself, What happened to Assistant Executive Park Taijai? Changduk pulled his arm, patted the empty spot next to him, and said, Our key staff member, come here. But Aung did not pay too much attention, thinking, Alright, that is not my business. Anyway, as long as the investment is successful, that is all that matters. Park Taijai stammered, We meet again. You have checked all the data, have not you? Changduk's hand swung up and slapped him across the face. Ah, the genius brain, Park Taijai. The words seemed caring. Should I get you a razor? People will misunderstand that you are locked up here. Park Taijai gave an awkward smile. Is that so? Aung seriously said, Director Kim, I think it is fine, but please, do not do anything excessive that would cause our investment to fail. Changduk fell silent for a moment. He thought of a plan to deal with Aung, and then spoke a threatening warning, I am scared. Of course, I know what you are implying. But Advisor Kwan Aung, I am the one who should be saying that. Trust each other, okay, you have to trust us. I am a bit of a scary person, you know. At the same time, at Dongil High School, other students wondered, Really, a homeroom teacher is so weird. Why is he only hard on you? Choi Jong-hyuk supported his hip and said, I am not sure, he is really hard on just me. Soho looked worriedly at his butt. Are you okay? Choi Jong-hyuk reassured him. Of course I am fine, it was not that hard. Soyoung crossed her arms and questioned Choi Jong-hyuk. Why does he treat such an all-around excellent student like that? What did you do wrong to the homeroom teacher? Choi Jong-hyuk feigned ignorance. Did I unintentionally make a mistake? It is okay, the teacher probably just misunderstood something. His two friends chimed in, You are so kind. Choi Jong-hyuk asked them, The test is over, so now I can freely focus on sports. The report cards are out too. Do you guys want to do something? Soyoung rubbed her hands together, shyly saying, I want to. If you are free, would you like to come over to my house? Mom told me to invite friends over. Mom said she would cook us a delicious meal because we studied hard. Choi Jong-hyuk chuckled knowingly. He teased, Or is it because you want to have a Tekken match with me? Soyoung blushed and denied, No, it is not. Jong-hyuk told her, Judo practice starts tomorrow, so going today is fine. Soyoung was overjoyed, Really? Soho said nervously, Me too. My mom also told me to invite friends over. The two of them started bickering again. Soho said, I have been waiting for the scores to be announced forever. Soyoung argued, I invited first, so you have to come to my house first. Choi Jong-hyuk chuckled to himself. These guys have probably never invited friends over before, huh? They look like kids looking for playmates. He gave a thumbs up, offering a textbook answer. It does not have to be today, you know, today we go to Soyoung's house. Next time we go to Soho's, that is fine. The three walked to the front of a luxurious mansion. She said, Welcome to my home. Soho said blankly, Soyoung, your house is huge. Soyoung then pointed at her house and said, Jong-hyuk has been here before, right? Choi Jong-hyuk replied half-truthfully, Did I really come here? but he clearly remembered. Choi Jong-hyuk thought to himself, on the first day I came back to life, when I was running from those thugs. I jumped over the wall of this house, right? How long has it been? Time flies so fast. Suho complained to him, What, you went to Soyoung's house without inviting me? Jong-hyuk also honestly confessed, No, that is not it. I just jumped over the wall. Soyoung's mother said, Hello, are you Soyoung's friends? Soyoung's boyfriends, she brought two back. Soyoung stammered, Mom, what are you saying? We are just friends, the two boys teased, calling out, Hello, Soyoung's mom. Soyoung introduced them one by one, he is Suho, and he is Jong-hyuk. She gently said to the two of them, Please take good care of my Soyoung. Jong-hyuk replied, It is a pleasure to meet you. I am Jong-hyuk, Soyoung's friend. Soyoung's mother smiled and said, You are Jong-hyuk, you are exactly as she described you. You are tall and very charming, a reliable person. Then he handed the gift basket in his hand to her. Thank you for inviting us to your home. This is a small token of my appreciation, it is nothing expensive. Soyoung's mother smiled politely. Oh, you did not have to bring anything. Thank you. She turned and left, telling Soyoung, I am going to prepare the food. Take your friends upstairs to your room. Jong-hyuk and Suho, please make yourselves at home. The two boys said in unison, Yes, madam. Soyoung put on her backpack, Then I will go upstairs, Mom. Soyoung led them up the stairs, Come on. Choi Jong-hyuk praised, Your house is spacious and clean. He passed an open room, That is my aunt's room. But why is the door open? She will go crazy if I go into her room. The room was cluttered with books and trash papers on the floor. Soyoung's mouth twitched. No, if I do not go in today, when will I ever get to go in? Just take a quick look, then come to my room. Suho hesitated. Is it okay? And Choi Jong-hyuk asked, Do you live with your aunt? Soyoung explained, That is right, my grandfather won't allow her to live independently before getting married, so she lives with us. Jong-hyuk replied, I see. After a while, he noticed a file on the table. Choi Jong-hyuk was startled to realize What is this? This is the data I gave Park Tae-jae. The content is a bit different, but the company list is identical. My investigative instinct is telling me that this is not just a simple information leak. He picked up the stack of papers and asked, Soyoung, what does your aunt do for a living? Aung slammed the door and yelled, Kim Soyoung. The three of them simultaneously turned around. Soyoung pushed up her glasses, scared. We are in trouble. Aung's face darkened, and she asked, What are you doing here? Soyoung's mother was chopping onions in the kitchen. Then Aung walked in. I am home. She asked, You are home early today? Aung looked at the colorful dishes on the table and excitedly asked her, Oh my God, what smells so good? Braised short ribs. Oh my God, you made so many dishes today. What day is it today? She seasoned the food. Soyoung brought her friends home. So I am just showing off my cooking skills. Go change and then come eat with us. Aung happily walked upstairs. Oh yes, braised short ribs. As soon as she reached the hallway, a strange voice spoke. Your aunt's room has a lot of books related to economics, huh? Soyoung's voice replied, But I have never seen her read them. She just has a lot of books. Aung angrily grumbled, Soyoung, this child. She carried her bag and went to her room. She slammed the door, catching them in the act, and questioned Kim Soyoung. What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you not to go into my room without permission? Soyoung worried, No, your room was open, so I just took a quick look. Then she glanced away, trying to change the subject. Anyway, why did you leave your room door open? I just came in, not long ago, I guess. Aung's expression grew darker. Choi Jong-hyuk put the paper down and spoke up to cover for Soyoung. We are sorry, Aunt. I am the one who asked him to let me into the room. Because I saw that your room had many books related to economics. But even so, it was wrong for us to come in here without permission, Aunt. We are sorry. Aung seemed to soften a bit. Well, I do have a lot of books, but you, a high school student, are already interested in economics. Jong-hyuk replied, Yes, that is right. I am especially interested in stock market investing. Aung excitedly ran up to him. Stock market investing, really, you should have said something sooner. What do you want to know? Just ask me, I will teach you everything. Choi Jong-hyuk paused, telling himself, Wait a minute. This face, why does it feel so familiar? Aung babbled, I will show you my investment portfolio. Okay, what kind of stocks are you interested in? He immediately guessed who this was. Soyoung's mother is from the Kwon family, so if her aunt is a financial professional with the surname Kwon. No way, Madam Kwon, the senior private financial advisor known for largely contributing to corporate investigations, with a vast network and high-quality information obtained from managing the assets of many politicians and chaebols, the person known as Madame Kwan. Choi Jong-hyuk thought in disbelief. Soyoung's aunt is Madame Kwan. How did this happen? Although now is not the time for her to appear, I am sure she will become a famous senior private financial advisor in the near future. If so, then her connection with Park Tae-jae is natural. He interrupted, and I heard a secret before. South Korea is in huge debt. Is this accurate? She was slightly startled but still replied, where did you hear that? That is quite a complex issue for you. It will take quite some time to explain. Ah, are you hungry? How about we talk while we eat? Soyoung covered her mouth and calmly said, she is starting again. My aunt talks a lot when it comes to economics. Aung spun around and forgave her. Hey Kim Soyeon, this time I will let your unauthorized entry into my room slide. Let us go eat. Soyoung cheered. My aunt is the best, Aung reluctantly replied. I am just letting it go this once. Night fell, and the moon rose high. The three members of the Kwan family stood at the door, seeing the two boys off. Soyoung's mother said, it is getting late, is not it? Choi Jong-hyuk politely said. Thank you for the meal today, everyone. Thank you, aunt. I had a lot of fun. All the dishes were delicious. She smiled kindly. All right, be careful on your way home. Come visit us again sometime. Okay. The two also said goodbye to their friend. We are going home now. Bye, Soyeon. On the way home, Suho happily rubbed his belly. Wow, I am really full. Choi Jong-hyuk told Suho. I want to visit your house soon too. The two parted ways at the intersection. Suho waved. Okay, see you next time at my place. Jong-hyuk said, okay, see you next week at school. On his way home, he rummaged through his pants pocket. Jong-hyuk took Aung's business card in his hand, lost in thought. At the dining table, Aung spoke non-stop. Jong-hyuk, regarding stocks, you can't just fixate on a fleeting moment. Just because the wave is gentle and weak does not mean the ocean is not fierce. It is very important to research and examine it to the core. Soyoung whispered to her mother, Mom, stop her. Everyone's eating, and she keeps talking about stocks. His mother whispered to Choi Jong-hyuk, I am sorry, Jong-hyuk. Just ask my sister for her business card, it will be faster. He smiled and agreed, yes, madam. Choi Jong-hyuk entered a phone booth and dialed. Thanks to Soyoung's mother, I suddenly got her aunt's business card. It is just that I have not had a chance to ask her the most important thing. The phone rang. Aung, though confused, picked it up. Who is calling at this hour? Yes, this is Kwan Aung. Jong-hyuk greeted, hello, aunt. This is Jong-hyuk. Aung asked, oh, it is you, what is wrong? Did you forget something? Should I call Soyoung? Choi Jong-hyuk denied. No, it is not that, aunt. I just have something I need to ask you. Aung seemed very happy that he wanted to talk about stocks. So you are serious about stocks? Huh, I was a bit disappointed that my sister kept watching me earlier. Just feel free to ask about stocks. Alright, what are you wondering about? Jong-hyuk asked a question she had not expected, so I will ask you about what I am curious about. Where is Mr. Park Tae-jae now? Aung repeated, Park Tae-jae, Assistant Park Tae-jae from Seodong. Jong-hyuk, how do you know this person? Jong-hyuk's reply stunned her. The list of influential companies to be inherited on your desk. That document was written by me. She asked in disbelief. What? Jong-hyuk asked gravely. Although the format looks different, I am sure that is the data I wrote and gave specifically to Park Tae-jae, sir. Even the order of the listed companies is exactly the same. How did you get those documents? Aung started sweating. Jong-hyuk, what do you mean? How could you compile such a document? Oh my god. She thought dejectedly. Wait, so this is stolen data. No wonder I wondered why the amount of information was so large. What should I do, if this plan is ruined? I will never be accepted by my father. Jong-hyuk continued, if you were tricked and invested in it, you would need to withdraw your capital, right? Aung's voice on the other end sounded a bit flustered. What, but after all this time, how? Jong-hyuk just offered a hint, to catch a tiger, you have to enter its den. To recheck that money, you have to go back to where you left it. At the law enforcement agency. Chang-duk politely said, our smart Park, you have worked hard. Park Tae-jae stammered, yes, why are you suddenly saying that? Chang-duk wanted to kick him out. Well, that is just how it is. You have worked hard. Your brain is very good, is not it? Do you understand what that means? You have finished your work, so now you can go home. Park Tae-jae quickly asked, what about the investment salary and profit distribution, and my share of the money? Chang-duk rested his chin on his hand. I took you in when you were weak, on the verge of being fired. I fed you, gave you a place to sleep, and now you are asking me for money. He spoke as if he was ungrateful. Isn't that enough? Do you want me to cover all your living expenses for the rest of your life? Do you want a punch? There was a noise outside the door. Changduk glanced. What is that sound? Hey, someone go check what is going on. The bald henchman mumbled, yes, boss. Changduk cursed. What crazy bastard is coming to cause trouble at someone else's business? The knocking on the door grew louder. The door was violently kicked open. It turned out to be Jong-hyuk coming to the rescue. Park Tae-jae seemed to see a saving light. Jong-hyuk, he joked. After a long time, I can finally say those cliché words, can I? He stood alone proudly, with no one to support him. Everyone, do not move. Jong-hyuk walked in. Everyone, stop what you are doing. Changduk still sneered. Who is this, startling me? Hey, who do you think you are, coming to break down someone else's office door? Are you a cop? But you look like a high school kid. You are not going to answer me. Who the hell are you, you bastard? Jong-hyuk stood akimbo. Well, that is right. I am not a police officer. In his heart, he was still very optimistic. Not yet. Outwardly, Jong-hyuk confidently told him, I think I have some private business with Park Tae-jae. The old man crossed his legs and ordered his subordinates. So that is it, you are really not a cop. Big brain, you know this guy. Even so, I can't let you go. Kids, we have a visitor, we have to entertain him, do not we? The subordinates cracked their knuckles. Understood, boss. Jong-shik approached him. Hey, you, take a beating to pay for the door. Jong-hyuk clicked his tongue. This idiot. Jong-shik glared. Huh, idiot, you just called me an idiot. He pushed him aside and spoke directly to him. Don't block the way, idiot. Park Tae-jae, I just want to ask you one thing. You are here right now because you violated something without permission. Park Tae-jae's eyes widened in warning. Jong-hyuk, run. He smiled ambiguously. As expected, this is enough. Changduk said irritably, this bastard has been spouting nonsense I do not understand. Jong-shik, what are you doing? Deal with him. Jong-shik placed a hand on his shoulder from behind. Yes, boss. Come here, arrogant dog. Jong-hyuk narrowed his eyes. Mr. Park Tae-jae and Aunt Kwon-aung, after intervening, I have seen the difference between their past and present. Mr. Park Tae-jae, after leaving his job, along with other like-minded colleagues, he founded an investment company and recruited sponsors through his network of connections. However, now, he becomes impatient as soon as he sees the data I sent. It seems he contacted some private lenders, was forced to accept money, and even handed over the data to them. This lender, smelling money, kidnapped Mr. Park Tae-jae and held him captive, forcing him to work to gather as much information as possible. Afterwards, they approached Kwon-aung, who held a large sum of money. And based on the information Kwon-aung confirmed, she offered to provide money to the lender. Going back to an earlier time, Aung confusedly asked him, so what should I do now? Should I report it to the police? Jong-hyuk speculated, not yet. If he is truly being held captive, Aunt, you could also be charged with aiding and abetting a crime, even if you were not directly involved. Jong-hyuk thought to himself, there is no way I am letting Soyoung's aunt become a criminal. He calmly analyzed, besides, we are not sure if Mr. Park Tae-jae was kidnapped or not. I do not think this is a case. If Mr. Park Tae-jae is cooperating blindly, even if we call the police, they can't do anything. And I will give you the contact number of a police chief I know. If I do not come out within 5 minutes, please call the chief's number. Aung, downstairs, nervously called the number. Yes, hello, is Chief Kim Jong-da there? Aung clenched the phone, telling herself, I do not know if this is the right action. He said nothing would happen. I wonder if Jong-hyuk is okay. She looked up at the high floor. What kind of crazy thing is really happening up there? Jong-hyuk deliberately took a hit. Jong-shik was stunned when he punched Jong-hyuk's face, but it had no effect. This crazy bastard, he took my punch and still did not flinch. He wiped his face. Did you really put all your strength into that punch? So, from now on, this will be self-defense, okay? Saying that, he immediately launched a move at Jong-shik's face. This blow knocked Jong-shik out cold. Jong-hyuk could not believe it. It worked. I can't believe I just knocked him out with one punch. Changduk's eyes widened as he watched the scene. This guy. With just one punch, he ordered the rest of the gang, that guy, drag him in front of me now. Right now, the henchman uniformly said, understood. Park Tae-jae said cautiously, Choi Jong-hyuk, what on earth are you? Exactly as Jong-hyuk intended, he provoked them. That is right, just rush me all at once to make it quick. This big brother finally understands. Let us finish this neatly, shall we? The countless criminals I encountered during 26 years as an investigator were beyond imagination. Those idiotic types were normal. And of course, those guys who like to swing knives wildly. Even terrorists equipped with illegal guns, who were once in special forces. It is even faster to identify the type of person I have never fought before. So those big, clumsy fools with no individual skills are just flies. The first guy made him sigh, slow. It is like I am watching a slow-motion video. He lowered his head. The leader delivered a stiff horizontal punch. He looked blankly. Huh? The leader who struck first was uppercut by Jong-hyuk. Even a snail is faster. He fell with a thud to the ground. Another loudmouth yelled, "You motherfucker." He thought as he knocked them out, weight class is important in judo. However, what is emphasized in this impromptu fighting style? He glared, assessing. Jong-hyuk lifted his leg and kicked another henchman in the face. He punched another one in the face at close range. Afterwards, Jong-hyuk turned to deal with the guy nearby. Not strength, but experience. He walked up to the bald man and gently said, "Anyway, there was nothing to be ashamed of my physical strength from the beginning." The man angrily, "You dog, you are just blabbering nonsense." "Shut up, you brat." Jong-hyuk took a defensive stance. "The old man is quite agile, huh? It seems the old man is better than the others. But it seems you have not developed your poor muscles." The man glared, "How dare you bring up my hair?" He put his strength into his leg. Then Jong-hyuk seized the opportunity and kicked. He flew into the wall and fell asleep instantly. "It seems all your kids are knocked out." He turned to Changduk. "What now, Changduk? Why do not you just comply obediently? Given this situation, I guess you are not planning to turn yourself in, are you?" The old man picked up a sharp knife. Changduk glared. "You bastard, who sent you? Which family, you bastard?" Jong-hyuk dodged dangerous moves. When Changduk swung the knife wildly, he quickly dodged it. Jong-hyuk quickly found a way to subdue the old man. Changduk gritted his teeth. "This bastard, how is he so good?" He glanced at the knife in Changduk's hand and scoffed. "I do not even have a weapon, yet you still can't land a single hit. The only thing I can use are these hands. But look again, you even have a knife." He quickly kicked the knife away. Park Tae-jaya thought in fear, "I need to call the police, but I can't even move my body." He loosened his grip on Changduk. Jong-hyuk called out to him, "Mr. Park Tae-jaya." Then he punched the old man in the stomach. He told him, "Please find the data file I gave you." Park Tae-jaya had not loaded it yet, sorry. "Ah, I understand." Park Tae-jaya looked around the desk. "The data file, where did I put it?" He picked up the paper and said, "Jong-hyuk, I found it." Loud sirens blared outside. Park Tae-jaya spun around. "That sound, it is police sirens," Jong-hyuk said. "All right, I am giving you that data file." Jong-hyuk slightly rotated his shoulder joints and got to work. "Honestly, if my only goal was to save Park Tae-jaya, I would not have come here myself. Now, the next objective. Kwon and Kim Changduk's conspiracy to commit a crime is too obvious." He glanced down at the sprawling figures. "We should end it here. Should not we?" Jong-hyuk thought. "I need to make sure the data I prepared does not leak again." Changduk scrambled to his feet, still in pain, cursing, "You dog, you just said you were an undercover cop, did not you?" Jong-hyuk did not agree but did not deny it either. "Isn't it obvious? How can you do business with this shrimp brain?" He grabbed the old man by the collar. Then he delivered a powerful throw. Changduk's body slammed onto the floor with a heavy thud. He watched the old man gradually lose consciousness and said, "Furthermore, I am pretty sure I already told you. Not an undercover cop, but a police officer." Plainclothes police officers rushed in. Everyone freeze. Jong-hyuk brushed dust off himself. "That line is so cliché, boss." Jong-dae yelled, "Jong-hyuk, are you okay? Don't worry, we are here." Then the three police officers silently looked at the chaotic scene here. Jong-dae was stunned. What the hell is going on here? Changduk was frothing at the mouth, unconscious. Police sirens blared faintly. Many police cars arrived to escort the gang to the station. Jeonsa draped a jacket over a henchman and asked him, "How could you deal with all these big guys?" The other police officer pushed the bald man's head down. "Idiot, watch your head." Changduk yelled, "Is making money also a crime? How dare you arbitrarily arrest innocent people?" Jong-dae stood akimbo. "Look at that guy. I guess we will have to shut him up." Jong-hyuk feigned fear and rubbed his hands. "Boss, you came just in time. If it were not for you, I could have been in big trouble." Jong-dae pinched his cheek. "Just in time, you still dare to say that, you brat." But then he scolded him. "You are not a police officer yet, kid. Even if you were a real police officer, acting alone like that is not allowed." Jong-hyuk said resentfully. I am sorry, sir. Jong sighed to himself. I should have scolded him, but his performance was too outstanding. Is he really that confident that he won't get hurt? He continued. Besides, with just your bare hands, what makes you believe you will be fine? Jong-hyuk chuckled. Of course I believe in you, our reliable leader. Jong-do changed the subject again. Oh dear, do you know the victim? Jong-hyuk honestly confessed. Yes, Kwon Aong is my friend's aunt. She was very worried because her friend was about to be detained. Jong-do patted his shoulder. Chang-duk, that guy is truly a criminal, involved in many incidents of kidnapping, threats, and fraud. Anyway, tell us more in detail at the station. You did a great job. Jong-hyuk narrowed his eyes. Yes, boss, thank you very much. Just as I expected. After the loan shark incident, Kim Chang-duk learned Park Tae-jae's personal data. He kidnapped and detained him to extract information and exploit his labor. Mess. Kwon received data from Kim Chang-duk without knowing anything, and ultimately provided him with money. Park Tae-jae and the data were safe. And that was the end of his journey in this case. Aong and Park Tae-jae waited for him outside. She called when he had just walked out of the station. Jong-hyuk, we are here. Park Tae-jae asked, did you finish writing your statement? Jong-hyuk replied, yes, I am done. Aong praised, you did very well. Park Tae-jae bowed apologetically and recounted, I am sorry for bothering you. I did not think things would turn out like this. The guy Jong-hyuk hit first, Jong-shik. I went to the same elementary school as him. I did not know he worked for a loan shark organization, and I tried to borrow some money. Jong-hyuk thought to himself, they were childhood friends. Park Tae-jae must have felt a lot of pressure. Jong-hyuk replied, then he is not your friend. Thank you for your cooperation. Aung sympathized, you must be very shocked. Park Tae-jae told them, thanks to all of you, I am fine now. I wish you both much success in the future. Jong-hyuk paused. What do you mean, sir? In his heart, he was confused. Why is the atmosphere suddenly so strange? Park Tae-jae regrettably said, I became too greedy and forgot where I stood. I think I should give up so as not to bother you anymore. Jong-hyuk was surprised. What, he is going to give up? Who said you could do that? Thinking, he sternly told him, Mr. Park Tae-jae, have you forgotten what I told you? The data I gave you is not yet complete, it is only half done. Of course, its price will be double, no, even more. Are you just going to give up like that? Park Tae-jae stammered, but... Aung jumped in. Jong-hyuk, I will do it. No, Choi Jong-hyuk, I will take care of it. I will recover the money invested in Kim Chang-duk. Go ahead and pour in more money. I do not want to give up that data. Jong-hyuk was satisfied. We are on the same page, Aunt. Mr. Park Tae-jae, I understand why you feel so skeptical. Even if you fully trust my data, we are investing in a future of decline, not growth, and after what has happened, you must feel even more worried. But the money and time we have invested, not only my data, but also the belief in Park Tae-jae's perspective will be buried. We can't give up everything just because it involves a few loan sharks. Can we? I will share the rest of the data soon, and of course, the development ideas too. In this round, only Kim Chang-duk was eliminated. The game continues. The real game has only just begun. Scene shifts to Seoul Station. Aung immediately offered, I will give you both a ride, get in the car. Just then, her phone suddenly rang. Aung smiled faintly and politely, excuse me, I need to answer this. She picked up the phone and greeted warmly, hello. The other end replied, this is Lee Young-chang. Where are you? Have you left the police station yet? As soon as she heard the news, Aung reacted extremely sharply. How do you know that? Afterwards, she lowered her voice and explained, Uncle, you do not need to worry about this. It is just a small problem. Jong-hyuk, standing nearby, overheard vaguely and his eyes widened in question. Yang-chang also sighed and replied, I know about it, that is why I called you. You do not need to evade the issue. Aung heard this and sighed with annoyance. Really, news spreads that fast? No way, Dad knows about this too. At this moment, Jong-hyuk turned to the side and whispered, is he Advisor Kwan's boss? The man next to him frowned, looking unsure. That is right, why does the atmosphere seem so tense? Aung, on this side, had a dejected and very troubled expression. I know, yes, I will be right back. After hanging up, she complained dejectedly, I am going crazy. Next, Aung turned to Jong-hyuk and began to explain, I am sorry, I have to go to my father's house now. Jong-hyuk heard this and felt extremely curious. What is wrong? You look terrible. Did something happen? Aung opened the door and explained, Oh yes, that is my father's business lawyer. My father knows about this. Father is a very strict person, a bit embarrassing, but he used to be a private lender, so he is very sensitive about money. Hearing this, a question immediately arose in Jong-hyuk's mind. Advisor Kwan's father is Chairman Kwan, right? For Advisor Kwan to become a capable advisor, it could be thanks to Chairman Kwan's capital and network of connections. Jong-hyuk remained silent, frowning in thought. I can't believe he already knows about this morning's events. Even retired, he still has a huge influence. Ian got in the car and looked at him apologetically. I am really sorry. I will call you later. Jong-hyuk and the man next to him both expressed understanding. It is okay. Drive safely. So, we are all going home separately now, right? Yes. Jong-hyuk, you worked hard today. Thank you. With that, Ian drove away. The scene changes to two koi fish swimming joyfully in the green water. Soon, Aung returned to the somewhat familiar villa. She stood in front of the door, feeling confused and troubled. I really want to run away right now. Then Aung comforted herself, saying, No, calm down, Kwan Aung. Why should I run? Don't be afraid, do not be afraid. After regaining her composure, Aung boldly pushed open the door. Inside the room, Mr. Huesus seemed to have been waiting. When he saw Aung return, he calmly ordered, sit down. Suddenly, a feeling of anxiety surged in Aung's heart. Uncle, can you stay? He shook his head, smiled calmly, and encouraged her, you can do it. So Aung walked over and gently sat down opposite Huesu. He calmly took a sip of tea to sweeten his voice. But then Huesu slammed the cup down on the table, making Aung's heart churn. Huesu did not say much but handed her a stack of photos and ordered, choose one. Your father has already filtered out some people with good looks and abilities. Aung picked up the photos and looked at them with extreme boredom. Father, first I have something I want to tell you. Please take a look at this data. He immediately became furious and shouted loudly, there is nothing to see. Huesu showed no mercy and scolded Aung, what kind of daughter goes to the police station all the time? Stop all the things you are doing. Faced with his scolding, Aung remained calm and suggested, if you look at it and still do not change your mind, I will give up and go on blind dates as you arrange. And I will get married within 6 months. What do you think? Hearing Aung's resolute words, Huesu was slightly stunned. Really, is that true? Seeing that he still could not believe it, she continued to affirm, yes, so please trust me one last time, father. Please take a look. Suddenly, Huesu flipped through the papers, reading and being stunned. His whole body began to tremble, and his voice became choppy. This is... Aung, seeing his surprised reaction, smiled triumphantly. How is it? After a moment of thought, Huesu gently spoke, I have a question. Did you make this data? Aung decisively shook her head. No, a genius high school student made it. Hearing this, Huesu could not help but be startled. What, a high school student? You were not fooled by a student's sweet talk, were you? Aung still asserted seriously. Do you think this valuable data sounds like sweet talk, father? Then I will borrow some money and pay you interest. After hearing this, Huesu held the documents in his hand and pondered, this is valuable data. Very valuable. I can't believe this was made by a high school student. How on earth? After some thought and consideration, Huesu ordered, call him. Aung immediately asked, Father, please trust me. Seeing Aung misunderstand him, Huesu shook his head and explained, that is not what I mean. We have to check the goods before we hand over the money. Hearing that, she took out her phone, dialed the number, and started calling. Yes, I understand. Soon, the other end picked up. Ian hastily called out, Choi Jong-hyuk. But Huesu quickly snatched the phone from Ian's hand. Hello, it is me. I will give you the money. How much do you want? Seeing him get straight to the point, Ian quickly reminded him subtly, Father, you are being too abrupt. On his end, Jong-hyuk calmly said, President Kwan, right? Huesu on the other end nodded. Yes, I am President Kwan. Hearing that, Jong-hyuk spoke casually, then you must have seen my data. The data is still incomplete and needs to be supplemented. What do you think? Do you like it? My assets are about 100 million, and I plan to invest all of it. As you can see, investment opportunities are not for everyone. Everything will gradually fall into place once I have enough capital to invest, as I estimated. On their end, Huesu and Aung remained silent, listening to Jong-hyuk's conditions. To control this process, what we need now is to hold shares. Hearing the extremely high and numerous conditions, Aung was stunned for a moment. After a moment of thought, Huesu offered a condition. Is 200 million enough? 200 million. Don't tell me it is 200 million US dollars. Jong-hyuk pondered for a moment, and then named a price. 20 billion won. Hwase's face suddenly darkened after hearing that. The term is 2 years, 40% interest, and of course, compound interest. On his end, Jong-hyuk was also slightly surprised. 20 billion, I thought the highest would be around 10 billion. Then he spoke, clearly showing his satisfaction. It seems we get along well. After talking, he realized and introduced himself. I have not introduced myself yet. My name is C. But before Jong-hyuk could finish his sentence, Hwase quickly hung up. Ian approached with an excited face. Father, did you really give me 20 billion? Father, I love you. Hwase sighed and said gently, you only say you love me at times like this. Alright, you can go. I will transfer this money to you. If you fail, you will lose everything. Receiving the generous investment, Ian excitedly went home. Yes, thank you very much, Father. Seeing Iong's effortlessly bright face, he just shook his head and sighed. This daughter. Iong's heart was bright and cheerful. Goodbye, uncle. See you again. The other person just bowed politely and replied goodbye. After Iong left, Lee Byun came in and softly asked Hwase, President, how was the conversation? He sighed and spoke seriously, Lee Byun. He bowed and replied, yes, President. Hwase glared and seriously ordered, I have a task for you. Elsewhere, Young-gil stood alone, sad and dejected. He held his camera in his hand and worriedly thought, it seems there is nothing to post today either. Jeonsa happened to walk over, carrying a bag of food. Hello everyone, I guess no one has had breakfast yet. I bought some gimbap from Jong-hyuk's place. Seeing the food arrive, everyone brightened up excitedly. Thanks, the gimbap there is delicious. Why are you suddenly so nice today, Officer Park? Jeonsu explained as he took some. I happened to meet Jong-hyuk at the stall. He was helping his mother since early morning. Very admirable. Jong-da nodded in agreement after hearing that. That is right, the kid is truly a filial son. Young-gil, observing from outside, could not help but be curious. What are they talking about? I can't hear very well. So he opened the door and cautiously went to where Jiangsu was talking with everyone. Thanks to him, Changduk was sent to prison. Not only does he diligently practice judo, but he also studies very seriously. Young-gil went to a corner and pricked up his ears, listening intently to them talk. That kid, diligent in his studies, could take on 7 gangsters by himself. Suddenly Young-gil felt a bit surprised and stunned. Jong-du, eating gimbap, exclaimed, we need someone like him. He is really suitable. Young-gil happened to walk over, holding a few hot coffees. Hello, officers. He handed out the drinks and asked, are you all discussing something? Can I listen? At Jong-hyuk's mother's store, customers came in, ate, and paid directly. Thank you. She walked over, patted his shoulder, and asked, are you sure? Come again next time. Jong-hyuk patted his chest with utmost confidence. I told you I am sure. You have to trust your son, Mom. She still worriedly reminded him a few things. Since the money is yours, I won't interfere. But why do not you save some money for college? If the investment fails, you will lose everything. Jong-hyuk shook his head and resolutely affirmed, no, Mom. My friends and use 2 billion won to hire bodyguards. Her aunt is very famous in the investment field. Hearing that, she gasped, unable to hide her surprise. Is that so? Even so, that amount of money, I can't help but worry. Seeing his mother still worried about him, Jong-hyuk suggested, I will take you to meet her sometime, Mom. You will feel relieved then. Hearing that, her heart softened a bit. All right. She stared at Jong-hyuk and silently thought, when did this boy grow up so much? Even when busy with school and judo, he still comes here every day to help me. Seeing his mother staring at him, he pointed to his face and jokingly asked, what is wrong, Mom? Is there something on my face? She did not say anything, just silently thought, he has become a wonderful man, just like his father. She walked over, took Jong-hyuk's hand, and gently advised, son, it is okay to take things slowly. Just then, Young-gil appeared and quickly captured the warm moment between the mother and son. Hearing the camera click, Jong-hyuk and his mother both turned to look. Realizing he had been caught, Young-gil awkwardly and hastily explained, sorry, I could not help it. It is truly a touching scene, before I even realized it. Jong-hyuk's mother casually waved it off. It is okay. Hello, what would you like to eat? He immediately introduced himself a bit. I am not here to buy anything. I am here for an interview. My name is Park Young-il, a reporter for Hyeonho Daily. Jong-hyuk greeted him warmly and readily. Nice to meet you. Seeing his warm and casual demeanor, Young-do was slightly surprised. Didn't he used to wear glasses when he was young? Maybe he did not wear them often, so his eyesight gradually worsened. Thanks to him, I peacefully resolved the issue with those bullies at school. Young-do cautiously spoke. It has been a long time, Jong-hyuk. We met at Dongil School before. Did not we? He nodded, confirming yes. Hearing this question, Jong-hyuk's expression became cautious. Wait, why is he here? It is like where there is a doctor, there is always a patient. Where there is a journalist, there is often a story. Then Young-do frankly explained, actually, I heard some information from Chief Jong-do. I am here to interview you, Jong-hyuk. Hearing this, Jong-hyuk worriedly thought, don't tell me it is the chief. I am screwed. Jong-hyuk's mother, hearing that, was curious and wondered, my son, what do you mean? Jong-hyuk just forced a smile and replied, I do not know why he wants to interview me either. Young-do immediately recounted, yesterday, your son did a good deed. He not only confronted 7 gangsters by himself but also rescued kidnapped people. Hearing this, she was stunned for a moment, and then shouted, what? Gangsters? Seeing that something bad was about to happen, Jong-hyuk hastily made an excuse. It is time for me to go to school. Damn it, how did he know about this? Before he could make his escape, his mother started scolding and hitting him fiercely. You brat, you! You fought with gangsters. You damn brat, are you trying to make me die of anger? I thought you were grown up, but you dared to do that. He could only hug his head and complain, it hurts. Mom, hearing that, she got even more enthusiastic and swung her hand harder. Does it hurt? You need to be hit more. Seeing this difficult and realistic situation, Young-do felt a bit awkward and cautiously suggested, can I interview you today? Seeing the cause of all the trouble standing there grinning, a fire of anger began to burn in Jong-hyuk's heart. This old man, why did not he meet me in private? Is it because he is still young, so stubborn? He gritted his teeth and thought, there is no way you are going to interview me. Soon, the news of that day was published in the newspapers. At this moment, Jong-hyuk brought the documents to his teacher. Coach, I have completed the task. Seeing that, he could not help but praise him. You finished it all, well done. Let us see the document you translated. Jong-hyuk stroked his chin, his face full of confidence. There is a lot of useful stuff. Though it was a bit tiring, it finally bore fruit. I finally finished translating the NFL training data. I was very busy preparing for the finals. It took longer than expected. Then the teacher pointed to an exercise in the document, and wondered, this is an arm exercise. Even with the explanation below, I still do not quite understand it. Jong-hyuk stood up and explained in detail to him. Yes, that exercise requires both hands to be on the ground, and only the upper body moves forward. This exercise is very useful for judo athletes. After hearing those words, he pondered for a moment. Is that so? I thought developed countries would have slightly different training methods, but this is really just like walking on all fours. It looks simple, but if you look at it from a more flexible perspective, this movement requires the practitioner to keep the lower body still and continuously move the upper body forward. He continued to look and then wondered, and this is the squat and jump movement. Jong-hyuk chuckled and explained, yes, it is called a burpee. They say if you do it 50 times, you might get a ticket to the afterlife. It is famous for its calorie-burning effectiveness and is very useful for muscle development. Even though they are basic movements, they are extremely effective. After understanding the method and benefits of the exercise, he nodded knowingly. I feel like I want to incorporate these 2 exercises into training right away. Then he jumped up excitedly. Very good, get dressed and let us start training. Jong-hyuk nodded cheerfully, yes. At this moment, it started to rain heavily outside. Jong-hyuk stood by the window, observing the weather, and nodded, commenting, now, this is perfect weather for torture. The scene changes to the training room. The teacher walked over and loudly ordered, everyone, settle down. But everyone was still diligently wrestling and punching each other. Then the whole class lined up neatly and bowed. Hello, coach. The teacher immediately got straight to the point. We have decided to add some new exercises to the training program. Assistant, demonstrate, step forward. Jong-hyuk confidently stepped forward. Step forward. Seeing Jong-hyuk step forward, everyone was excited. What is this? Our youngest is leading the training session today. Look how much he is warmed up. I wonder what exercise he will show us today. That is our freshman ace. So cool, Jong-hyuk. Honestly, it is fine if I am the only one using these references. After a period of warm-up, Jong-hyuk was ready in position. Training instructor Choi Jong-hyuk has completed his warm-up. Among the students, Dong-gik carefully observed every gesture of Jong-hyuk. But if I start introducing them to future training methods and habits now, the seniors will be able to greatly improve the quality of Korean Judo. The teacher's whistle sounded, get into warm-up position. Jong-hyuk started the exercise with an interesting count. 1, 2, second position, begin. Then he began to demonstrate the exercise, thinking, the second position is the basic starting posture, and then twist your body. When twisting, use opposing hands and feet. Jong-hyuk frowned, persistent and serious. You just need to support your body weight for as long as you can. Seeing Jong-hyuk perform the exercise, many students below could not help but chatter. He is crazy, really. Hey, do you think you can hold that pose for as long as he can? It looks like I could. After finishing the exercise, he stood up and sighed with relief, regaining his stamina. It might also be because I am in a young and healthy body, but it is really easier than before. As long as you adjust your pace and monitor your breathing, you can do this movement for a long time without excessive effort. Then Jong-hyuk adjusted his uniform and stood neatly. The teacher looked down at the class and said, now, you all saw Jong-hyuk do it, right? It is quite different from the warm-up movements we used to do, so it might be a bit awkward at first, but as a coach, I believe you will be able to adapt to it quickly. Yes, coach. Do you want us to follow those movements, coach? The only reason Jong-hyuk can do it is because his body is very flexible. But we can't, you kids. All empty vessels making noise, huh? Alright, be quiet. Now, Captain. At this moment, Dong-gik raised his hand to speak. Yes, coach. Before he could finish his sentence, the teacher announced, there are many more exercises than what you just saw. Make sure you all master them perfectly before the training camp. Hearing that, the friends sitting next to him turned to chat. Captain, can we really remember all of them before the training camp? Hearing that, Dong-gik's heart swelled with envy. Damn Choi Jong-hyuk. Jong-hyuk at this moment was beaming with self-satisfaction. You can be mad at me now, but later you will have to thank me. Time flew by for 3 months. In the training room, tired breaths echoed. Am I trembling now? 2 students lay stretched out on the floor, extremely exhausted. Shut up, old man. I do not even have the energy to answer you anymore. Dongil High School Judo Club, completely decimated. The teacher observed the students after a match and exclaimed, it has been a while since I last saw these kids sprawled out on the floor like this. Sangmuk replied cautiously, it seems those exercises are effective, but coach, how can I manage all these kids by myself? Hearing the worry starting to surface in Sangmuk's thoughts, the teacher encouraged him, don't you know these kids, just give them a month or 2, and they will get used to it. I even thought about hiring a professional massage service. But you know our budget is very limited. Just bear with it a little longer. Then Sangmuk and the teacher left. Alright, Dongil High School Club, let us end it now, okay. The students bowed politely, yes, thank you, coach. After the 2 teachers left, Dong-gik's eyes turned to Jong-hyuk. He was sitting on the floor, complaining idly, it is hot, it is hot. Then Dong-gik walked over to him and softly said, Jong-hyuk, thank you very much. You know that all the seniors in the judo club did not go on the trip, right? That is our way of handling this. The training camp is our priority. You rushed with the translation because you knew about this, right? Wow, you worked so hard to prepare for the training camp, well done. Judo Captain Seo Dong-gik, he is the kind of athlete who always prepares thoroughly to win medals whenever he participates in a competition. In his 2nd year, he received recruitment offers, but despite this, he always remained humble. Hearing the words coming from his mouth, Jong-hyuk briefly pondered. As expected, the captain understood the importance of the new exercises. He patted his shoulder and said confidently, you have enough skills and potential to become a full member, even though you are only a freshman. Keep it up. Hearing that, Jong-hyuk smiled faintly and replied warmly, yes, I will do my best, Captain. Alright, let us go. Right after Dong-gik left, a thought immediately popped into Jong-hyuk's mind, main member, that is right. These days have been so busy that I almost forgot. All of them are regularly school representatives who compete in major tournaments as elite members. The selection process for main members usually takes place at summer and winter training camps. Out of the 50 regular members of the judo club, usually 5 are chosen. Although they often select 5 additional reserve members as a precaution, still, Jong-hyuk observed from the outside with an extremely triumphant attitude. Reserve, I am not counting on that kind of opportunity. He looked around and let out a calm sigh. Anyway, Jong-hyuk stood up, tightened his belt, and made a resolute decision. It seems I will have to work as hard as possible, Choi Jong-hyuk. A moment later, he was diligently tying his shoelaces. His mother came over, observed, and gave some instructions. Did you bring everything? You did not forget anything, did you? Make sure you do not get hurt, and message me as soon as you arrive. Okay, have fun. Jong-hyuk had his backpack on his shoulder, ready to go. Yes, I know, Mom. You do not have to worry. I am grown up now. After a moment of hesitation, he looked at his mother with a longing gaze. Honestly, I am more worried about you, Mom. Jong-hyuk thought of his mother bustling around the shop every day and could not help but feel pity. These past few days have been very hot. It must be very difficult to sell gimbap under the sun all day long. Seeing him looking gloomy and worried, she flatly denied it. Is my son worried about me? I am used to it. It will be fine. Jong-hyuk nodded and did not forget to give a few instructions as he left. All right, Mom, but try not to overexert yourself. She nodded and waved goodbye to Jong-hyuk. All right. Come back safely. As soon as he stepped outside, Jong-hyuk looked up at the sky and secretly sighed. It is definitely summer now. It is so hot that just standing still makes me sweat. It feels like only yesterday I went back in time. To some extent, I feel like I have gotten used to this life. After taking a few steps, Jong-hyuk's face became strangely gloomy and sad. I have been very focused on training to become a main member. I guess time really has passed quickly. Has not it? I should quickly set up my own shop so Mom can run it. In that case, should I start investing according to the plan right away? Jong-hyuk's eyes became determined, and he made a firm decision. Since coming back to the past, not everything has gone the way I wanted. But I have definitely taken a different path than in my past life, and it is much better than before. After a moment of deep thought, he confidently made a resolution. Good, let us live a different life then. Not long after leaving, he thought of his mother at home and wavered. Only then can I escape that unhappy past, not just for myself but also for Mom's benefit. On this side, Sangmuk was outside on the phone. Yes, of course, madam. Don't worry, just trust me. He kept nodding to the person on the other end. Yes, of course Songwoo will become a player. He is the best among the juniors. Towards the end, Sangmuk's voice could not hide its awkwardness. Red ginseng, oh, it is really not necessary. Yes, that is it then. Yes, madam, of course, have a good day. As soon as he hung up, Sangmuk unconsciously glanced to the side. Looking at the group of people in front of him, his inner self was fiercely torn. For Songwoo to be a player, I have to do something about Jong-hyuk. While Jong-hyuk's group was still smiling and joking, hey, Jong-hyuk, I thought you were wearing something, but it is all muscle, seriously, you train extra after regular practice, do not you? Sangmuk's inner thoughts were full of curses. If his academic results are so good, why is not he studying? What is the point of practicing judo? Even Jong-hyuk's words were more infuriating. I am just trying my best to train. His friend squeezed his face and reproached him. You mean we are not trying our best, is that it? No one paid attention to Sangmuk, who was holding distorted thoughts on the opposite side and could not cause trouble because he was friendly with everyone. I really have to make sure Jong-hyuk is not chosen if I want Songwoo to become a player. At the same time, managing the upperclassmen, I have to deal with him before the player selection round begins. After finishing his thoughts, he waved his hand, signaling, enough talking, everyone, get on the bus, we are leaving. The whole group obediently chorused, yes, sir. Jong-hyuk actively got on the bus first. In his mind now, there was only one conviction, the training camp had begun. As planned, I will become a player at all costs. The bus carrying Jong-hyuk's determination sped along the winding road. He chose to let himself drift with the music. Just then, the person next to him leaned over and exclaimed, oh my God, look over there. The vast blue water made everyone unable to contain their emotions. Look at the sea, it is the sea. Everyone was bustling. It is so vast, coach, can we go play at the beach for a bit? Sangmuk had to lower his voice to quell this enthusiasm. Hey, quiet down, some people are sleeping. But the chatter could not be stopped. This beach is lively, give me some, only if I am crazy. Just as the excited cries rang out, the bus suddenly screeched to a halt. Then it turned sharply onto the mountain road next to it. Clearly, the training center was not by the sea. The person next to Jong-hyuk could not hide their curiosity. Aren't we going to camp at the beach? He chuckled and chimed in, I thought so too. In front of Jong-hyuk, whispers suddenly arose. Hey, going for a drink tonight, are you crazy? They can hear you. How many bottles did you bring? Of course, they did not forget to invite him. Hey Choi Jong-hyuk, do you want to come to our room tonight? You are Dongil High School's freshman ace, you know. The seniors will teach you many new things. Jong-hyuk politely refused immediately. Thank you, but no. I will focus on training at this camp. This action displeased Songwoo, who was sitting in front. This guy. I told you I would take care of you, don't be so rude. Outwardly, he stammered an apology. Yes, I am sorry. But inwardly, he was cursing like a sailor. These little brats are so eager to drink, huh? In the end, Songwoo was embarrassed and did not insist. Fine, if you do not want to, forget it. But inwardly, he had clearly held a grudge against Jong-hyuk. That bastard. This guy is really a buzzkill. Soon, the bus stopped. In the vast space, an urging voice echoed, "We are here, kids, unload your stuff." Then came the detailed instructions. This is the dormitory where we will train for the next month. The whole group obediently followed the predetermined route. They quickly saw the lush green stadium, which was extremely fancy. Another teammate, exhausted like an ox, complained a bit. What are you all standing there for? Go get your luggage. Jong-hyuk, however, stretched indifferently. It is more comfortable and refreshing here than I thought. Just then, a gasp of admiration came from behind him. Another bus is coming. A second later, all the guys' eyes widened. What? They are all beautiful girls. The chatter grew louder. I wonder which school they are from. Are they also in a sports club? Jong-hyuk stood listening on the side and secretly cursed. Holy shit. So I guess it has reached the age where I am attracted to things like this, huh? Sungho rubbed his forehead, muttering in pain. These kids have lost their minds. He had to cup his hands to his mouth to remind them. Listen up, Dongil High School Judo Club. Gather here. The whole group obediently replied, yes, coach. Sungho pointed to the side, signaling, do you kids see that trail over there? Hurry up and go there. You will run on that path and go straight to the beach ahead. This unexpected task stunned everyone. What? Sungho settled back in the car and warned further, anyone who does not try hard and finishes last will have to run from the beginning again. Sangmok also transformed into a cruel capitalist. The coach and I will go ahead and make sure the area is fully prepared for you kids to train. Both of them sped off in the car, leaving the students bewildered. Isn't the beach quite far from here? I was about to say that, if he is going to do that, he should have dropped us off at the previous spot. Come on, everyone. 5 minutes later, they all gathered and shouted, hey, is everyone here? Let us start running. Now we have to run and conserve energy for training later. Jong-hyuk got into position, secretly calculating. I guess I should prepare. In his mind now, there was only one goal, run to the finish line. Sunset quickly appeared on the horizon. Sangmuk stood by the beach, unable to hide his curiosity. Coach, who do you think will arrive first? Sungho replied calmly. Who else? He is almost here, over there, see? He pointed towards the running figure and shouted loudly, as expected, Jong-hyuk. He usually uses all his strength and muscles, but now he looks so balanced with everything. Sungho did not forget to press the stopwatch in his hand. Then he did not hesitate to pour out a string of praises. First place, Choi Jong-hyuk, well done. But as he gasped for breath, he paid attention to something else. A hint of doubt arose in Jong-hyuk's mind. What is this? Wristbands. He quickly had the next scenario in mind. We had to run all the way here, and then this. He calmly put them on and estimated, they are quite heavy. They feel like they weigh about 5 kilos. The person next to Jong-hyuk was not as calm. I am so tired, I am exhausted. A teammate came up and put an arm around his shoulder, teasing him. Jong-hyuk, are you planning to continue increasing your long-distance endurance this way? He cheerfully replied. Is that a compliment? Thank you. Finally, Songwoo dragged himself to the finish line. He panted, looking at Jong-hyuk, and secretly cursed, damn. Seeing everyone present, Sungho proceeded with the second training round. Alright, breathe in, put the wristbands on both hands. The upperclassmen are also participating today to help. Listen to their advice. The whole school suddenly became noisy. Nice to meet you all, seniors. What should we do after putting these on? Sungho took the opportunity to bring them back to reality. Alright, everyone, prepare to do the arm exercises. The kids immediately shouted, you want us to practice right here. He did not flinch and yelled even louder, what else are you doing? Repeat after me, loud and clear, bear crawl, prepare, bear crawl, prepare. The whole group obediently followed Sungho's rhythm. Mind your posture, keep going, do not stop, go, run faster. He did not give up and even prepared for the next plan. They should do that before exercising. Now is the time to build muscle. Sungil stood on the stage and introduced. This was very difficult to borrow. I really had to try hard to get it. The students below, without prior agreement, shared the same thought. Coach, you do not have to do that, sir. The two young men in front of Jong-hyuk whispered to each other, their faces pale. That is equipment for training. Why does it look like a BDSM toy? Honestly, it could kill someone. As for him, he rubbed his chin with great interest. Who knew they would prepare so many things? It is like it came straight from the gym. Until now, the judo club has focused and fully trained the upper body more than using equipment. They mainly used basic weight dumbbells, or you would be left alone for a few minutes. Jong-hyuk was still silently reminiscing in his mind. I am pretty sure I would be very awkward if I tried to use a computer at the company. Just then, a voice called him back to reality. Choi Jong-hyuk. He exclaimed in surprise. Yes, sir. Sungil impatiently reminded him. You are the one giving the lecture, are not you? What are you doing? Come up here quickly. Jong-hyuk awkwardly left his position. Oh yes, sir. I understand, sir. His companions next to him immediately cupped their hands to their mouths and teased. Hey, Jong-hyuk, try to sell as much as you can as fast as possible. Sungil carefully asked again. You have used this equipment before, right? Yes, sir, he affirmed without hesitation. I have had experience with these devices. His hand reached out while his mind drifted. How long has it been since I touched an iron head like this? If I plan to do something with this body, it is quite interesting. Jong-hyuk started with the nearest barbell. Many athletes are not as brave as they say, because their body is their future. They can't take risks when it is just physical interaction. In this situation, I should let them use me as a model to train, should not I? But he quickly felt it was not challenging enough. Or maybe I underestimated my body, that is too easy. Jong-hyuk decisively dropped the weights to the floor. Sungil blurted out in surprise, What are you doing, kid? He looked at Jong-hyuk's action and kindly reminded him, Come on, if you put on too much weight to lift, then use your legs. Half your weight is suitable for an A-class person. This information shocked the group of students below. Sungil unconsciously raised his voice. What are you going to do? What if you try too hard and get injured? And I get infected too? Sangmuk next to him was a bit hesitant. Jong-hyuk, this guy, always pushes to the limit, huh? But he quickly took off his jacket, preparing to challenge Jong-hyuk. Come on, coach, what can you do? That is Jong-hyuk, he seems like someone with experience. Does not he? I guess he can lift a lot more. But in reality, Sangmuk's mind was loudly calculating. I should try and give him more training exercises. That way, the kid will understand his place and withdraw from the usual choices. He stood in front of Jong-hyuk and affirmed confidently, Isn't that right, Jong-hyuk? You can do things you have never done before, can't you? The whole school suddenly fell into an awkward silence. Sangmuk continued to press and provoke. If it is you, you can lift much heavier, right, Choi Jong-hyuk? He looked stunned, as if trying to digest this unexpected information. Sangmuk was still nagging in his ear. If your posture is correct, your bones won't be a problem, right? You said so yourself. Finally, Jong-hyuk dimly realized. What? Why does it sound like he is provoking me? He decisively added a few more weight plates. Jong-hyuk's inner thoughts began to harbor suspicion. Is the coach unhappy with me for some reason? Sangmuk achieved his goal but did not forget to set the stage. Coach, let us trust Jong-hyuk and let him do what he wants. Sungil calmly agreed. If Coach Park says it is okay, then go ahead. Sangmuk turned away, trying to suppress a triumphant smile. I have to make him lose face in front of the kids. If he gets injured from lifting too much, even better. At this moment, Jong-hyuk had already placed the weights on his shoulders. Sangmuk's eyes suddenly widened without surgery, because he gently pushed the weights up as easily as pushing a foam box. After completing all the steps, Jong-hyuk gently exhaled. While Sangmuk's inner self was still in chaos, he just lifted that up like that. Sungil loudly and affectionately scolded, This kid, Jong-hyuk. This is not judo, it is weightlifting, Jong-hyuk awkwardly chimed in. I only focus on judo. Sungil took the opportunity to assign another task. Now please help me check the posture of the other students too. Jong-hyuk readily agreed, yes, of course. He immediately waved his hand, signaling, The seniors will go with Coach Park to check the records. Okay, now, everyone spread out and grab your equipment. Jong-hyuk will go around and help everyone adjust their posture. The kids below obediently chorused, Yes, coach. The space suddenly became noisier than ever. Jong-hyuk, over here too, hey, Help me out a bit again. When will you come to help me? Jong-hyuk immediately went to the sound of the call. Yes, seniors, I am coming right away. He corrected and explained like an expert. Correct posture is the most important thing. But the other person still complained. I feel like I am going to die. On another side, it was even more extreme. Hey, is this posture correct? If I keep doing this, won't I dislocate my back? Jong-hyuk still patiently explained. No, senior, that is the most standard posture. He even gave them a thumbs up knowingly. After that, Jong-hyuk's attention fell on Songhwa. Senior, excuse me for a moment. You are doing very well, but it would be better for your biceps if you pulled your arms back inward a little. He irritably teased, Hey, is this training equipment or something? Now even pulling a rubber band needs your permission. He awkwardly replied immediately, of course not. I am sorry. In Jong-hyuk's mind, he unconsciously found a reason for the other person. So sensitive. Training with equipment is indeed a bit stressful. Just then, a voice from another side pulled him back to reality. Jong-hyuk, over here. Help me with my posture again. He did not move but just said from afar, Yes, you are doing very well. Sangmuk observed everything, his face growing more and more dissatisfied. Songhwa walked past and unconsciously shouted, Coach, what are you doing? He flinched and shot a warning look. Hey, do not you know how to lower your voice? Songhwa quickly caught on and chimed in, Anyway, Choi Jong-hyuk is only a freshman. Does he think he can become a professional athlete? That absolutely cannot happen. I only trust myself, coach. Sangmuk impatiently waved him away. Alright, stop thinking nonsense and train hard. Jong-hyuk, unaffected by them, was still enthusiastically giving instructions. Yes, now you are doing very well. You should lower your knees a little more. That is right. Don't push your chin forward. But he finally noticed the abnormal attitude of Sangmuk's group. A warning bell suddenly rang in Jong-hyuk's mind. Those two, they seemed to be secretly whispering something. Come to think of it, I felt a strangely hostile vibe from Senior Songhwa and the coach. There is something very suspicious, highly fishy. Surely those two are not plotting something, are they? No plot was evident yet, but Sangmuk was definitely cursing to himself. That damn Choi Jong-hyuk, because he keeps walking around everywhere, it seems like choosing Songhwa as a professional athlete will face obstacles. I can't let that happen. No matter what, I have to stop that kid from becoming a professional athlete. What do I do with that damn brat? Oh God, I am going crazy. Time quietly passed. Soon, it was the 15th day. In the dining hall, sighs and chatter echoed. Seriously. 15 days have passed, but why have not I regained my arm strength? Is that really important? I have never even seen the faces of the female students in the next building. That is what is important. That is right. Why do not we get to enjoy that happiness? Hey, compared to last year, do you feel any prouder of choosing sports? Song was suddenly interjected with a complaint. What kind of sport? Hey, carrying rocks and wearing sandbags on your legs, then rolling around all day under the sun. Is that really useful for judo? Because of muscle pain, I do not have any strength left. I think we are just wasting time, and we do not have much time left to train together. Shouldn't we start sparring? After venting, Songhwa still felt a bit wronged. What on earth was Coach Park doing? He stared at the target not far away. The coach had loudly proclaimed he could do it himself. In another corner, Sungil was doting on his favorite, Jong-hyuk. Your body has gotten so much better lately, has not it? You politely flattered him immediately. It is all thanks to you, master, for providing me with such a good training environment. You worked so hard to prepare this training program. Sangmuk spoke up uncomfortably. How about I switch places with you? Sungil awkwardly patted his shoulder to console him. Excuse me, young man. Coach Park, do not mind him, just eat comfortably. Sangmuk's inner thoughts wanted to scream, Jong-hyuk this, Jong-hyuk that, all day long. Don't you get tired of it? He stuffed a large mouthful of rice to appease his anger. But before he could even swallow, Songhwa's gaze bore into him. He was using his mouth to question, Are you sure, master? Are you handling this? Sangmuk choked in fear, making the person opposite him panic. See, coach, are you okay? He covered his mouth, trying to regain his composure immediately. I am sorry. Jong-hyuk, beside him, kindly pushed a glass over. Here, master, have some water. He spoke politely then chugged it down. Thanks. Jong-hyuk observed while organizing data in his head, according to the monitoring results over the past few days. I have concluded that Coach Park Sangmuk is up to something. With Coach Park and Yun Songhwa at the center, I clearly feel that some people are trying to avoid me. And the one who shows it most clearly is Senior Yun Songhwa. His attitude towards me is so different that I can immediately sense the hostility with just a glance. Even when the cafeteria was empty, Jong Hyuk was still pondering. The coach, Senior Yun Songhwa, and about 10 others seem to be colluding. They account for about 1/5 of the judo team. The problem is quite serious, and some members of the judo team look at Coach Park with deep meaning in their eyes. Thinking this, he still politely greeted them, "Everyone, enjoy your meal." After that, Jong Hyuk returned to his doubts. Although it is just a feeling, could it really be like the rumors say, that some teachers have accepted bribes? If that is true, and the price of the bribe is to swap professional player positions, then this would be a major scandal affecting the entire judo team. If things get worse, it means that all opportunities for the judo team to participate in major tournaments could be cancelled. If my guess is correct, should not I give up on choosing a professional player before things get worse? By the end of this year, I will be a second-year student. And I could become a professional player then. If I give up this opportunity, nothing will happen. No, even so, I do not want to give up because of this. Just then, Songhwa also noisily walked out. "Hey, is not the food here not that great?" His comrades immediately chimed in. "I agree, instant noodles taste better." He got bolder and started lecturing. "You stupid pig, you will gain weight if you eat like that, you have to pay attention to your weight." While speaking, Songhwa's gaze met Jong Hyuk's. His internal thoughts immediately went wild. "Oh, this dog, I hate him so much. Why is he always flattering others? Why does he always cross the line with the coach?" Songhwa unconsciously rushed towards him. "Hey Songhwa, where are you going?" Jong Hyuk flinched and looked towards the source of the footsteps. The can of soda in his hand suddenly dropped. Songhwa stood behind Jong Hyuk, who was drinking water, about to do something. Jong Hyuk also noticed and turned around to see what was happening. He walked over and bumped into him, making him drop his can of soda. Songhwa faked a fall onto the floor. He made a surprised face. "Huh?" Two people nearby asked Songhwa, "Are you okay?" Songhwa sat on the floor and yelled loudly, "This damn Jong Hyuk, you also asked Senior, are you okay?" Songhwa grabbed his collar and shouted, "Yeah, are you looking down on me? I am your senior, you should respect me, not walk around with that arrogant face," he thought to himself. I purposely rammed into his shoulder that hard, and he did not even budge. Jong Hyuk was still bewildered and confused. "Huh, why is he suddenly overreacting like this? He was the one who bumped into me first." Songhwa commanded, "Don't think just because Coach Shin spoils. You can do whatever you want, okay, follow me." Two people outside saw someone coming and announced, "Coach." They tried to clarify, "It is not what you think, sir." Sangmuk walked in, puzzled. "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Songhwa started to explain. "Coach, I can explain. It is because this guy disrespected me, his senior, first, that is why I." He was surprised. "Huh?" Sangmuk wondered, "Why is Songhwa grabbing Jong Hyuk's collar? This kid Songhwa, what are you trying to do?" Seeing this, he signaled, "I understand, go back to your room." Songhwa immediately spoke up, "Coach." He questioned, "How much longer do I have to wait?" Hearing that, Sangmuk also reconsidered, "That is right, I can't postpone it any longer. It is time to teach Jong Hyuk a lesson and not let Songhwa waste money." He then called, "Jong Hyuk, come outside, let us talk." Jong Hyuk was confused. "Huh, me, yes sir." Sangmuk also called Songhwa. "Songhwa, you come too." All three of them went outside together. Jong Hyuk wondered about his actions. Why does the coach want to talk to both me and Songhwa? He felt uneasy and immediately thought of a way. I should record this as a precaution. Who knows what he will say? Sangmuk began to explain. "The reason I called you two out here like this is because..." He asked Jong Hyuk, "You are still a freshman, right?" You replied, "Yes sir, that is right." Sangmuk sighed. "All right, I understand why you do not understand how this world works. I know you are an upright person." He began to advise. "But if you keep refusing to understand things, you will suffer a lot. No matter how talented you are, it won't make a difference." Jong Hyuk wondered. Why is he suddenly lecturing me? Sangmuk began to recount. "I clearly see the efforts you put into training and the resources you bring to the club." He hinted at criticizing you. "I understand, okay, I know how diligent you are. But what I mean is, for a freshman like you to be so ambitious about becoming a competitor is a bit much." "Huh, why is that?" Sangmuk secretly thought, "Just pretend." He tried to persuade you. "You know competition is good, but as I said, you are still a freshman. You should act according to your freshman status, and..." Jong Hyuk immediately asked for clarification. "Is there any rule that says freshmen are not allowed to become competitors?" He was surprised and hesitated. No, but what I mean is, for now, you should let your seniors shine first. Song-woo sighed upon hearing this. Jong-hyuk still wondered, why should I do that? Jong-hyuk expressed his opinion. Everyone has an equal chance to become a competitor through matches, do not they, sir? If I lose in the qualifying round, I will accept the result because that proves I am not good enough yet. But why should I give up my chance when I have not even had a chance to prove myself? Sang-muk thought a little angrily. This kid is saying he is confident enough to win based solely on his technique. He still tried to persuade you, Jong-hyuk. What I mean is... Song-woo interrupted. This damn Hong-hyuk, do not argue with the coach. Listen to him. He spoke up to stop him. Now, Sung-go, you should not do that to Jong-hyuk. Stand still. Sang-muk continued to explain. Listen to me, Jong-hyuk, you are still a freshman. You still have plenty of time and opportunities until graduation. But it is different for your seniors. They do not have much time left. He asked again, do you understand? The simple thing you can do to help is to step aside, do not get in people's way. You immediately got angry and asked, are you too threatening me? Sang-muk immediately denied, what are you talking about? What are you thinking? Jong-hyuk cursed under his breath, Coach Park, this shameless bastard. He smiled, realizing, so this is how he treats people who do not bribe him, huh? Song-woo cut in to criticize, hey, did you just smile? Are you making a joke of the coach, you ungrateful bastard? The coach is telling you not to be a stumbling block for your seniors. You calmly retorted, do you have a future that I need to block? He immediately got angry. What did you just say, you dog, coach? Did you hear what he said? I am not letting this go. You closed your eyes and thought to yourself, I am the one who should be saying that, you bastard. Jong-hyuk seriously interrogated, senior, have you ever bribed the coach? Hearing that, Sang-muk got angry. But you continued to express your opinion. If not, then I can't understand why the coach is so insistent on forcing me to give up this opportunity to become a competitor. After all, he will be the one to bear the consequences if he trains an athlete who does not meet the standards for competition. He swung his hand to slap you while yelling, shut up. Sang-muk slapped you and yelled loudly, how dare you speak like that? He threatened, if you keep acting like this, forget about practicing judo, you insolent brat. Jong-hyuk remained firm. If I misspoke, I apologize, sir. But I truly do not understand, sir. He expressed his opinion. I am good enough to compete with the seniors. If there is no rule prohibiting freshmen from becoming competitors, then why are you trying to convince me to give up the opportunity? Song-woo beside him lost his temper and challenged, yeah, you dog. So what if I bribe the coach? Song-woo grabbed your shirt. Jong-hyuk calmly called out, senior. He then shouted a challenge. I bribed him so I could become a competitor. So what are you going to do about it? Song-woo sarcastically challenged, are you jealous? If you are jealous, cough up the money, you poor monkey. Oh wait, I forgot, you do not have rich parents willing to throw money around for you. Do you? He punched you in the face and then criticized you. What is a ragged beggar like you doing joining the club and messing everything up for? Money is power, and power is a skill too. You son of a bitch. Sang-muk immediately intervened, hey Sung-oh, stop it, what are you saying? If you cause trouble like this before the match, you will be disqualified. Song-woo turned to question him. Why do you think something like this happened, coach? He started to pick a fight about what he did. I would not have to do this if you did your job properly. Am I wrong? Sang-muk continued to intervene. Enough, Jong-hyuk, forget what Sung-oh just said. He instructed Jong-hyuk. And remember to keep your mouth shut if you know what is good for you. You did not linger, yes sir. He left, not angry, but smiling triumphantly. Jong-hyuk held the recorder and breathed a sigh of relief. He slandered my parents, and I almost exploded, but I caught them both red-handed. He hid in the corner of the wall, smugly thinking, I know exactly what is good for me. You should start worrying about yourself, coach. Now, what should I do with this? Sung-gil shouted in confusion, Jong-hyuk, what are you talking about? He wondered, what do you mean? Jong-hyuk respectfully replied, it is what it says, sir. Thank you for your concern and help. Jong-hyuk bowed in thanks, I have learned a lot from you, sir. Sung-gil frantically shook you, determined to get a clear answer. No, how can you say you want to give up judo? Tell me so I can understand. He saw your bruised face and tried to ask, also, what happened to your face? Did someone hit you? Calm down and let us talk, okay? The two sat in the room, and Sung-gil asked again, so, why did you do that? Sung-gil probed, is it because I made you train too hard? Jong-hyuk immediately denied, no, sir. I just feel like I am not good enough yet. Hearing that, he pondered, hey, if you are not good enough, how bad are the other kids? Sung-gil was determined to get an answer. Tell me the truth. Is there another reason? Is someone bullying you? Is it the person who hit my brother like this? Jong-hyuk pretended to evade the question. Bullying? No, sir. It is not like that. He was very surprised to hear that. Sung-gil confirmed again. Huh? Is someone really bullying you? Why did not you tell me? Don't you trust me? You handed him the recorder and said, no, it is not like that. Then, please listen to this recording first. Sung-gil wondered, what is this? Jong-hyuk seriously said, after you listen, please make your own decision. Sung-gil's face was serious as he looked at the recorder. Jong-hyuk let him decide whether he should continue to stay at the judo club or not. Coach Park Sang-muk's room 203. He sat in the room, nervously biting his nails. Sang-muk worried, Jong-hyuk won't tell anyone, will he? I am pretty sure I have got him. But, suddenly, a knock on the door caught his attention. Huh? Dong-gik called from outside. Coach, it is Dong-gik. Coach Shin is looking for you. Sang-muk wondered, what is wrong? Dong-gik told him, well, Jong-hyuk said he wants to give up judo. Sang-muk's face paled as he opened the door and yelled, what? He walked to Sung-gil's room, his face full of worry, cursing under his breath, damn it. Sang-muk knocked on the door while secretly blaming Jong-hyuk. Jong-hyuk, this stubborn kid. I did not say anything harsh, and yet he is threatening to give up judo. Sung-gil shouted from inside, come in. Sang-muk walked in, trying to appear calm and greeted, hello, sir. Why did you call me? He speculated on the reason he was called. Don't tell me he has arranged something with Coach Shin. He walked in, pretending to ask, why is the atmosphere so tense? Sang-muk walked over and touched Jong-hyuk's shoulder, pretending to inquire, Jong-hyuk, why did I hear that you want to give up judo? Is something wrong? You can talk to me. Sung-gil called out, Coach Park. He tried to deflect Sung-gil's words and continued to squeeze Jong-hyuk's shoulder, pretending not to hear. Oh my, your shoulders are all stiff. You have been very stressed lately, have not you? Sang-muk tried to cover your mouth to prevent danger. You should not suddenly drop such a big bomb on us teachers. I do not know what you are going through, but try to be a bit more positive. Okay, just focus on training, that is all we ask. Jong-hyuk sighed. Sung-gil frowned and yelled loudly, Park Sang-muk. He calmly replied, yes, sir. Sung-gil sternly questioned, you are still deliberately not understanding what is happening, are not you? He then called out loudly, hey, Dong-gik. Dong-gik stood beside him, yes, sir. He instructed him, take Jong-hyuk outside for some fresh air. Yes, sir. Jong-hyuk, let us go. Sang-muk's face darkened. Jong-hyuk then left, yes, senior. You looked at Sang-muk and thought, see you later, Coach Park. It was nice knowing you. Dong-gik clarified, Jong-hyuk, Shin told me everything. Are you really going to quit judo? You thought to yourself, me, dream on. Dong-gik asked with concern, you must feel burdened. This should have been handled sooner. Jong-hyuk tried to hide what was happening. I can't tell him that this is part of the plan to expose Coach Park. You also tried to act normal and concerned about Dong-gik. I am sorry for worrying you. You must be busy preparing for the qualifiers, Captain. I recorded it as a precaution. You recalled Sang-muk's actions and words at that time. How dare you speak like that? You clearly recorded everything that happened, every word from Sang-muk. If you are going to act like this, forget about practicing judo, you insolent brat. You also did not try to cause trouble, although I did intentionally provoke them a bit. Jong-hyuk recalled the scuffle and thought smugly, I was able to get proof that Coach Park accepted bribes. You also remembered Song-hwa's challenging words, money is power. And power is a skill too, you son of a bitch. You secretly thanked him. Thanks to that, Sung-ho getting even more provoked than I expected. Dong-gik stood up, preparing to leave. He patted your shoulder and advised, I am going inside first. Take your time and calmly reconsider. Dong-gik waved and left before he could hear the rest of Jong-hyuk's sentence. Thank you, Captain. He left, and you remained seated. Jong-hyuk happily wondered to himself, I wonder how Coach Park is doing now. Sung-gil spoke to Sang-muk. Coach Park, no, Sang-muk. He respectfully replied, yes, brother. Sung-gil sadly rubbed his face with his hand. He sharply questioned, are you the head coach? Sang-muk replied, no, sir. Sung-gil clarified, that is right, I am the head coach, and as the head coach, I am the one who decides who becomes a competitor. He reminded him, you are an assistant coach, understand? Sang-muk bowed and replied, I understand. He then yelled loudly and reproached, I understand, so how dare you do something like this? Sang-muk cursed Jong-hyuk under his breath. Jong-hyuk, that damn dog, he told Coach Shin. Just because of a freshman, I am being treated like this. He tried to explain to avoid trouble. Sir, I do not know what Jong-hyuk told you, but please let me explain. This is just a misunderstanding. Sung-gil presented the recorder to refute Sang-muk's words. Don't try to make excuses. Sang-muk was surprised. Huh? The recorder slowly started playing. Sang-muk's face turned pale as he thought, cassette tape. He began to beg, Sung-muk, I have known you for 10 years, sir. I beg you, I will do anything you want, just let me. Sung-gil began to lecture him. Do you think I have not done anything because I do not know what you are doing? He was determined to thoroughly resolve this matter. I turned a blind eye to you taking bribes because I know your circumstances. But this time you have gone too far. Sung-gil gave him one last chance to leave in silence. I know you have also collected money from other students, not just Sung-il. If you agree to keep quiet about this, I won't expose it further. I guarantee Sung-il and the other students won't be prosecuted for what they did. Sang-muk bowed his head, speechless. Sung-gil added, this is the last respect I will give you for your 10 years as my assistant coach. Sung-gil also explained why he did it. I know you are a good coach. That is why I am not kicking you out of this profession. I assume you understand what I mean. You know what to do to get out of this situation. Sang-muk shed tears of gratitude. Thank you very much, sir. The wind blew into the room, easing the tense atmosphere. Sung-gil stood on the balcony, deep in thought. He held the recorder and sighed. He looked at the recorder and remembered, I have worked with him for 10 years, but... Sung-gil thought to himself, Jong-hyuk really wants to quit. He recalled your words at that time, Jong-hyuk really wants to quit. He mused, if I do not fire Sang-muk. Sung-gil blamed himself, damn it, I was lenient with Sang-muk because I have known him for so many years. I should have overlooked this when it first happened. He was filled with sorrow and self-reproach. It is all my fault. I did not set proper boundaries. Sung-gil regretted, oh my God, standing under such beautiful stars makes me feel so ashamed. Time passed, and it was the next day. At the gym, Sung-gil was shouting, focus. He adjusted slightly a him. Sung-gil clapped his hands again, everyone, pay attention. He began to explain, the qualifying rounds for selecting competitors are about to begin, so next week you will only be eating and sparring. Sung-gil stood speaking before the athletes. I know you have all worked very hard. Of course, becoming a competitor is very important, but if you do not make it, there is no need to despair too much. He encouraged them to try hard. I want you all to know that I have trained you as much as possible these past few months. Not just becoming a competitor, the path to becoming a competitor is also very important. Sung-gil cheered them on. I want you to do your best and play fairly. Jong-hyuk and everyone shouted yes, sir. The coaches blew their whistles and shouted, all right, now. They announced loudly, begin sparring practice for the qualifying rounds. Jong-hyuk thought about the rules, qualifying rounds to select competitors, 5 winners after 70 rounds. He thought to himself, I will be qualified to be considered a competitor. Jong-hyuk set a goal, next week, if I do not win at least 10 matches a day, I will be eliminated. The gym was cleaned and prepared for the competition. The coaches announced again, attention everyone, after your name is called, please proceed to the mat. As you all know, the winner will continue to fight, and the loser will wait for their next name call. They encouraged the athletes, only 5 competitors will be chosen, so I hope everyone will do their best, so you have no regrets. Jong-hyuk prepared to compete. His eyes showed determination to secure a spot. Jong-hyuk raised his hand and shouted, ready. Sung-gil looked at you with anticipation. Jong-hyuk, I am so looking forward to watching his match. The two took their stances. The coach shouted, begin. Jong-hyuk's opponent reassured himself, don't be scared, he is just a freshman like me. The two began to rush at each other. Jong-hyuk had already thrown his opponent. The coach shouted, Jong-hyuk wins. Jong-hyuk happily exclaimed, nice, he thought to himself, gotta capitalize on this win. Others stood outside watching the matches. Song-woo was anxious and uneasy. He took down his opponent in just a few seconds, unbelievable. The person next to him complained, he is crazy, seriously. 2 people whispered, the next person to fight him will be under a lot of pressure, I bet. It is best not to be paired against him. Song-woo reassured himself, don't be so picky, we will take him down with experience. Our physical conditions are the same. The person next to him suddenly wondered, damn, why did Coach Park suddenly quit? I wish he could give me advice in situations like this. Song-woo pondered Sang-muk's situation, something definitely happened. Why did he suddenly withdraw without saying a word? Did Jong-hyuk tattle to someone? No. I am fine. He definitely has not said anything. He also calmly speculated, Coach Shin did not mention anything about Coach Park either. The other guys and I have not encountered any problems. He wondered, is it really not related to that guy? The coach looked at the list and said, let us see. The coach slowly announced, the next person in Group A is. Songwoo outside was anxious, please, anyone but me. He flinched when he heard the name, Yoon Sung-ho. The coach called out, where is he, come up. Jong-hyuk smiled at him. Songwoo cursed, damn it. The two began to step forward. The two faced each other, and exchanged greetings. Jong-hyuk smiled and thought to himself, we meet again, senior. Songwoo told himself, focus. The coach's situation is not important now. This damn Jong-hyuk, I will beat you to a pulp and become a competitor. The coach shouted, bow. He arrogantly thought, no matter how talented you are, I have more experience. The coach shouted, get ready. Jong-hyuk thought to himself, Coach Shin closed the bribery case by making Coach Park take full responsibility. He took his stance, preparing to spar. He thought about Sungho's actions. He was afraid that innocent students would be dragged into this. That is why everyone focused on the qualifying rounds without any distractions. His eyes became determined as he thought, although the situation was not out of control, it almost turned the entire club upside down because of me. I have to prove I am worth more than the trouble I caused. The coach signaled and shouted, begin. The two did not attack immediately, trying to find an opening to strike. Songwoo planned his attack. Whoever attacks first wins. I will finish this in one blow. First, I need to find an opening. Jong-hyuk rotated slightly. Songwoo rushed forward. He thought to himself, then I will use it to my advantage and attack. His hand was immediately knocked away. The two continuously clashed but only probed. Songwoo thought irritably to himself, I can't find an opportunity to grab his collar. He noticed an opening and paid attention. Opportunity has arrived. Songwoo rushed forward and grabbed Jong-hyuk's shirt. Jong-hyuk did not do anything but look, while he was happy, finally got a hold of him, now just to see. His face was serious. He thought to himself, he fell for it. Jong-hyuk immediately pulled with one hand and grabbed his collar with the other, unleashing a blow that surprised Songwoo. His legs immediately shifted. He swung his leg into his groin, lifting him entirely. Songwoo cursed under his breath, that damn Jong-hyuk. He threw him to the ground. Songwoo was slammed hard to the mat, unable to do anything but realize, he deliberately left an opening. Jong-hyuk breathed out happily, thinking to himself, perfect inner thigh throw. An inner thigh throw is one of the throwing techniques. The key is to sweep the opponent's leg backward to break their balance. The coach announced, the winner is Jong-hyuk. You extended your hand and expressed, good match, senior. He immediately swatted your hand away. Songwoo turned and left, cursing, arrogant bastard. Jong-hyuk rubbed his head and laughed, thinking, I will forget about the bribery case then. He encouraged himself, 6 more wins, let us go. Aung happily congratulated you over the phone, I heard you became a competitor, congratulations, Choi. Jong-hyuk immediately replied, thank you, Ms. Kwan. He thought to himself, summer camp ended successfully, and I became a competitor. She asked, we should celebrate, are you free? Jong-hyuk was busy so he politely declined, thank you, but I have somewhere to go today. I will contact you later. Have a good day. She wished him well in return, you too. Jong-hyuk was about to do something, alright, let us get to work. Jong-hyuk went to the police station. Jong-hyuk began, it has been a while since we talked, Ms. Kwan. He asked, how's Yodo these days? She replied, still as smug as ever, but people are starting to sense impending danger, although it is just a small group. Jong-hyuk wondered, what about the interest from the investment products in the shell company in Hong Kong? Aung immediately told him, we successfully bought it. It was like there were no strings attached. We will reap 30 times the profit this way. Jong-hyuk exclaimed happily, that is great. Meanwhile, international investment firms like Nomura of Japan and JP Morgan of the US began to catch wind of South Korea's financial information through news. They started to cut or limit the sale of risky investment products to prevent South Korea's future default. She sighed, it was really close. You thought to yourself, we created a shell company in Hong Kong for transactions, to prevent such a thing from happening. Jong-hyuk cheerfully said, right, luckily, we prepared everything. He was confident because he had prepared everything. We successfully bought everything just before the economic ecosystem completely changed. Aung asked for his opinion. By the way, Mr. Choi, we will extend the holding period of the products if everything goes according to plan, right? He immediately gave his opinion. No, even if the IMF impacts economic sanctions, they won't last long. She wondered, can South Korea's economic strength endure? He explained to her, it is all thanks to the people. He explained clearly, back then, people sold things like gold rings and wedding gifts to escape the currency crisis. He continued, and they paid off foreign debts on behalf of the state. No matter what difficulties they face in the short term, South Korea will find a way. Jong-hyuk confidently said, just trust me like you always do. Hearing that, Aung also trusted him. Oh, alright, who else can I trust? He advised her, just wait a little longer. She ended the call, alright, I will talk to you later. Suddenly, someone called, catching his attention, Jong-hyuk. Soyeon and Seho came over. Jong-hyuk said, hey guys, the two of them simultaneously said, hey. Seho asked you, it has been a while since you went to summer camp, has not it? And Soyeon happily complimented, congratulations on becoming a competitor. Jong-hyuk also happily accepted the congratulations, thanks, it is all because you guys believed in me. He reminded them, shall we go? Seho said with a hint of unease, I am worried. Soyeon also did not believe in herself, saying, I can't believe I am going to volunteer at the police station. The three of them went into the police station. The police officers were preparing food. As two officers were eating, the three opened the door and entered, saying loudly, good morning. They looked up from their food to see the new arrivals. One person spoke up, giving directions, go straight and turn left, you will reach the subway station. Jong-hyuk clearly told them, oh, we are here to volunteer, sir. Lieutenant Kim Jong-do recommended us here. Chang-do was also slurping noodles. He wondered, Lieutenant Kim Jong-do. He complimented, you guys are here earlier than I thought. Chang-do clarified, you are students from Dongil High School, right? He adjusted himself carefully and introduced himself. Nice to meet you all. I am Inspector Park Chang-do from Namdaemun Police Station. He said, I have heard about you from Lieutenant Kim. I am very grateful for your help. Hearing that, they replied, thank you, sir. Everyone went to the conference room. Chang-do slowly said, before we begin. He curiously asked them, I want to ask you something. Why do you want to volunteer at the police station? He expressed his opinion. Usually, students avoid working here because the job content is quite scary. Chang-do concluded with a serious face, when in fact, it is not scary at all. They did not know what to do and just replied yes, sir. Soyeon and Seho, in turn, explained their reasons for participating. I want to see for myself what a police officer's daily work is like. I think volunteering at the police station would be very meaningful. Jong-hyuk calmly sat drinking water, listening to them talk. After hearing them, Chang-do announced, I understand. Jong-hyuk turned and stated his reason. I am here because I want to become a police officer. He was surprised to hear that and asked for clarification. Oh really, you want to be a police officer? You clearly told him, yes sir, I have wanted to since I was a child. You thought back, this is the second time I have dreamed of becoming a police officer. Jong-hyuk clearly stated his aspirations. Regarding volunteer work, I want to patrol the area and help lost children find their parents. He continued to list, or help the elderly when they need it. Hearing that, Chang-do immediately explained the risks. The job won't be easy. Helping the police station patrol is not for children like you. You might encounter criminals. You expressed your opinion. I want to show everyone that volunteering at the police station is worth the time and effort and is meaningful, and that police officers are good people. Not as scary as everyone thinks. Jong-hyuk also explained why he chose this place. We chose to come to this police station and not larger stations in other districts because of this district's impression in people's eyes. He also expressed his dream. The police officer I want to become is someone friendly and approachable. Chang-do thought seriously. This kid is speaking from the heart. He recalled the introduction. Students usually just come to clean and leave. But Lieutenant Kim told me there is a very bright kid in the group. Chang-do speculated. He must be talking about this kid. He stood up, resting his hands on his hips. He concluded the work and gave a few reminders. Alright then, I will arrange 30 hours of volunteer work for you, but remember, safety first. Chang-do directed his subordinate, Officer Seo, give these kids patrol gear, and also give them walkie-talkies. They were given walkie-talkies to use. They also wore armbands with the word patrol so people would know. Jong-hyuk said goodbye like a real police officer. Alright then, we will be back soon, sir. They went outside with the guidance of another police officer. Suddenly, Jong-hyuk heard a foreigner's voice. Let me go. He was surprised to hear it. Huh? Jong-hyuk immediately paid attention to the group of people in the dead-end alley. Russian. Many people gathered there. The police officer paid attention to see if everyone was in a bad mood or had any problems. The police officer asked, Jong-hyuk, is something wrong? You hid the truth and said, "Nothing, sir." Jong-hyuk felt uneasy and pondered. "I feel uncomfortable inside somehow. I will go take a look." He then pretended to leave. "Sir, I am going to the restroom for a bit." The police officer agreed and reminded him, "Okay, hurry up." Jong-hyuk hid behind the wall and observed the situation. Something surprised him. "Huh?" Jong-hyuk wondered, "What is this?" In the bustling market, the sounds of hawking emerged: socks for 100 won a pair, underwear for 200 won a pair. People walked around buying and looking at goods. Victorai also came to the market. It seemed he had researched thoroughly before coming here. So this is Korea, the land of Dasarak. This is the largest market in the country. I am sure I will find quality products. He immediately went to the stalls, choosing and buying what he wanted. Victorai squeezed among the crowded market-goers. He only realized after buying a pile of things, "I got too excited." He muttered, looking at the bag, "Bought a ton of stuff like this." Suddenly, someone came and bumped into him, calling out familiarly, "My friend." The guy immediately pointed and invited Victorai to look at the goods. "Want to go see some stuff, all good stuff, top-notch goods." He politely declined. "Oh, no thanks, I have bought too much already." The guy held on, trying to tempt Victorai. "I am telling you, that stuff is amazing, your friend will definitely like it. I will give you a special discount." "Okay," Victorai stammered, "but I do not." Suddenly, a few more people appeared. That group seemed to be planning some mischief with him. Victorai was sweating, but the other guy still tried to tempt him. "We have the best stuff in this market, check it out." He put his bag down on the ground. The group surrounded him, blocking him in the alley. Victorai tried to shout, "Let me go." The guy tried to reassure Victorai. "Damn, look at that distrustful look. I won't do anything to you, okay?" The guy held out a bag of white powder and asked, "Ever tried this back home?" Victorai looked and speculated. "Huh, what is that? White powder, could it be?" He guessed, "Drugs?" The guy, while covering one nostril and sniffing a few times, then said with a sales pitch, "A wonderful souvenir for your trip, my friend." Jong-hyuk immediately walked over and shouted loudly, "What is going on here? A bunch of thugs." The other guy was surprised. "Huh?" The guy raised his voice and cursed, "What the F***ck? Who the F***ck is this? Hey, do you know who we are?" One of the henchmen explained, "Never seen this guy before, man." He noticed the armband you were wearing and speculated, "This annoying patrol armband. It looks like this guy is a rookie or something, boss." Jong-hyuk immediately used his walkie-talkie to announce, "Officer Seo, this is Jong-hyuk. Requesting backup to the alley behind the dumpling shop." He said over the walkie-talkie, "There's one victim and 4 suspects." The other officer anxiously asked for clarification. "What? Where are you? I thought you went to the restroom." Jong-hyuk immediately said, "I will report the details later, sir." Victorai wondered, "What the F***ck? Who is this guy?" 145. The henchman arrogantly said, "Just a kid, let us beat him up." You immediately charged in and thought about your actions. "I do not know what these guys are doing here, but I have to act." The other guy commanded his henchman, "All right, punch him in the face for me." The henchman confidently rushed forward, swinging his arm, "Take this." Jong-hyuk immediately slammed the guy's face into the wall, dazing him. And so, one guy quickly went down. The thugs became aggressive and charged. "You think you are in a movie? Go on, hit him." Jong-hyuk looked at them with sharp eyes. He then struck the chins of the 2 guys. The 2 were surprised by that. He smiled and walked towards them. The guy thought nervously, "Damn, who the hell is this?" Jong-hyuk calmly teased, "What game are you guys playing here? Can I join in?" The guy immediately grabbed a brick and threw it at him while shouting, "Take this, you dog." He raised his hand to block, and the brick shattered. The guy immediately climbed the wall behind him to escape. Jong-hyuk immediately ran to stop him. He grabbed the guy's shirt, while the guy struggled to escape. Let go, you F***king dog." Jong-hyuk swung his arm and pulled the guy back, making him fall backward. He calmly said, "If you want to let go, then let go." He successfully dealt with those guys without affecting the surrounding space. Jong-hyuk watched the guy fall, hitting his face on the street. The guy lay on the ground, groaning and yelling. He approached, held his hand, placed his foot on him, and then reminded him slightly, "Don't do anything stupid, stay still." Jong-hyuk held the guy tightly and clarified, "You are arrested for threatening and obstructing an officer in the line of duty." The police officer came over and called out to him, "Jong-hyuk." The police officer immediately announced, "I found Jong-hyuk, requesting immediate assistance to the scene." The police officer asked, "What is going on here? Are you hurt?" You answered and asked where your friends were. "I am fine, sir." "Where are my friends?" The police officer told him, I already sent them back to the station. Victorai finally spoke up, excuse me. He asked about the situation, are you a police officer? What just happened? Jong Hyuk communicated in Russian, you will have to come with us to the police station. Victorai was surprised to hear him speak Russian, he speaks Russian. A packet of white powder fell from the guy's person. Jong Hyuk bent down to pick up the bag and criticized, these damn bastards. He explained clearly, they are drug dealers. We will need your cooperation in the investigation. Crimes related to banned substances. South Korea officially began cracking down on drug trafficking rings after 1990. In 1976, the government attempted to manage and prevent the use of stimulants not for medical purposes. However, due to the increasing number of young people sniffing opium and abusing stimulants like laughing gas, laws related to stimulants were strengthened and perfected to ensure stricter management of these substances. At the police station, they angrily slammed their hands on the table. They discussed cases related to banned substances. Since last year, crimes related to stimulants have increased quite a bit, but to this extent. Oh my God! They dared to sell drugs in broad daylight, right in an alley of a market. Chang-do sadly wondered, what kind of world is this developing into? Jong Hyuk spoke up, sirs, please arrest all these people. He resolutely said, producers, distributors, sellers, buyers, arrest them all. Outside the tall police station building stood majestically and imposing. Jong-do stood with his hands in his pockets, appearing both serious and friendly. I thought you were doing charity work, not getting involved in a new case. Jong Hyuk showed embarrassment and humility. At the question, I guess I just got lucky. Jong-do squinted, confirming the seriousness of the issue. So are you sure it is related to drugs? Isn't the prosecutor in charge, not us? He smiled confidently and shrewdly replied, we have not confirmed with them yet, but I think we can add this case to your performance review. That remark made him laugh with satisfaction. Oh my, where have you been all my life? Jong-do turned towards the stairs leading to the building entrance and motioned, let us go inside. Jong Hyuk's eyes followed with respect and obediently complied, yes, sir. Upon entering the police station, he quickly shook hands and greeted, Inspector Park, it has been a long time, has not it? Chang-do also politely returned the greeting, nice to see you. Jong-do looked at Chulho and extended a greeting, and Chulho, how long has it been? I know you have been at Namdaemun police station for a while now. He politely smiled and replied, we are all swamped with work, that is all. Putting aside his initial cordiality, Jong-do's face turned serious as he spoke of work. After checking the evidence, we should hurry. If it is serious, we will have to assign tasks. Before leaving, he did not forget to turn back and instruct, Jong Hyuk, wait here for a bit. Okay. Jong Hyuk nodded and replied gravely, yes sir, please do not worry about me. He walked to the waiting chair and realized Victorai was also sitting there. 1907. So he enthusiastically waved his hand and greeted in Russian, Victorai, you are here. He was also happy to see him. Hyuk. Victorai turned and anxiously asked about the situation. Is the interrogation over? Can I leave? Jong Hyuk sat up straight and calmly replied in a polite but firm tone. I am sorry, but you will have to wait here a bit longer. Hearing that, he could not help but feel frustrated. I can't believe this mess. I do not have time for this. Jong Hyuk tilted his head, looked at him, and made a guess. Could it be that you are busy looking for business ideas? The question startled and surprised Victorai. How did you know? He slowly explained, I accidentally saw the items you bought at the market. They were too diverse for a tourist to buy as souvenirs. Victorai also frankly admitted, you are right. I have not finalized the main item yet, so I still have to keep looking. Jong Hyuk politely started to probe. Would you mind if I ask what kind of items you are looking for? He honestly revealed. I want to find a product similar to Korea's dasarak. He tilted his head slightly and asked again, dasarak, like ramen. Victorai enthusiastically nodded in agreement. Exactly, instant noodles. Jong Hyuk secretly marveled. I did not know dasarak was already famous in Russia. He suddenly came up with a bold idea. What about canned coffee? This surprised Victorai. Canned coffee. He thoughtfully rubbed his chin. Let us burn could become a trend in Russia, which kept Victorai beside him in constant confusion. At this moment, he suddenly realized a valuable market gap. Wait, it has not reached Russia yet. This could be a good opportunity for me. So Jong Hyuk quickly stood up. Victor, please wait for me a moment. His actions left Victorai constantly bewildered. Huh? He quickly returned with a can of coffee with an eye-catching label and confidently invited, here, try it. I guarantee you will like it. Victorai politely took it and curiously sniffed the aroma of the coffee. Thank you. He brought the can of coffee to his mouth, took a small sip, feeling the flavor spread, his eyes gleaming with surprise and extreme delight. Victorai, extremely excited, urgently asked, "This tastes Hyuk, what is this? Is this really coffee?" Jong Hyuk smiled confidently and cleverly offered a hint of collaboration. "It is good, is not it? It is quite popular in Korea. That is why I also wonder if I can help guide you in the right direction." Victorai could not hide his curiosity about the appealing offer. "Really? How do you plan to do that?" Jong Hyuk's eyes gleamed with sharpness and confidence. "First, I plan to suggest products that Russians will like. I will also consult with you on each item." Hearing that, he was a little skeptical. How can a Korean like you know what Russians will like? And what do you mean by consulting? Aren't you a student? He did not falter, his voice maintaining the confidence of a winner. "If you do not trust me, I will explain with this can of coffee. What do you think will happen if you sell this product in Russia? In my opinion, the business project will fail. There are already many types of soft drinks in Russia, and this frozen can could freeze quickly in Russia's harsh weather." Victoria nodded in agreement. "You are right. Do you mean there is another way?" Jong Hyuk, with great confidence and determination, laid out his conditions. "If you guarantee me 3% of the net income, I will give you a solid solution, as well as help you secure contracts and even take you around." He saw the hesitation on Victoria's face, so he kindly offered more time. "Or you can think about this until the police station closes. I will give you time to think." During the time Victoria was thinking, Lieutenant Kim and the Namdaemun police station collaborated to arrest not only the remaining members of the group attempting to traffic drugs with Victoria, but also other drug rings in the Namdaemun area. The arrests of these drug rings in Cheongdyecheon and Namdaemun made headlines. Meanwhile, Jong Hyuk signed a contract with Victoria and searched for feasible items that could be exported to Russia. Victoria enthusiastically shook his hand with gratitude. "Thank you, Hyuk." You politely replied, "It is my pleasure, but unfortunately, we do not have more time to look for other products." He smiled contentedly. "No, this is enough. Without you, I would not have been able to do so well." He flipped through documents and praised continuously. "I especially like this warming cabinet, a device that can keep drinks warm." "How wonderful." Jong Hyuk smiled, his eyes friendly. "I am so glad you are satisfied. Can I give you another gift?" Victoria's eyes widened in surprise. "Another one?" He nodded and unexpectedly turned to politics. "Yes, the current president of Russia is Yeltsin, right?" Victoria's face quickly fell. "He is disgracing Russia's great honor." "But why do you ask?" Jong Hyuk slowly revealed important information. "There is a person facing many difficulties in his political campaign. Treat him well. South Korea's economy will collapse, and Russia will soon face a harsh winter. As your consultant, I advise you to develop as much as possible during this time." He approached and tightly squeezed Victoria's shoulder, "until South Korea recovers in a few years." Those words somewhat astonished him. "Are you saying it will only take a few years for South Korea to stand on its own feet again?" Hearing that, Jong Hyuk could not help but smirk triumphantly. He confidently put his hands in his pockets and firmly affirmed, "That is right, the whole world will be very surprised." Victoria burst into hearty laughter. "In that case, I do not regret spending $300,000 on your consulting fee. Our newly formed relationship is probably the cheapest thing I have bought in this country." His smile deepened and filled with conviction. "At the same time, it is also the most valuable." Jong Hyuk extended his hand and replied with a teasing, subtle remark, "Victoria, you are flattering me as if we will never meet again." He also responded with a firm handshake, "Of course not. I promise the next time we meet, my reputation will be even greater." You proudly replied, "I have never doubted that." The two exchanged a respectful farewell handshake. Victoria politely said goodbye, "Take care," and Jong Hyuk also respectfully replied, "Goodbye." He stood waving at the taxi carrying Victor away, the engine sound fading, closing a successful encounter. Jong Hyuk smiled triumphantly to himself. "Great, now I have a connection with Russia. If things go smoothly, I can interrogate with Russia in the future." He quickly pulled out his phone and dialed a familiar number. Jong Hyuk happily announced his assessment. "Mr. Park, it is Jong Hyuk. I believe Russia will soon announce and postpone debt repayment." Hearing that, the other end of the line was stunned. "What?" You calmly added, "It will be announced by the end of this year at the latest, or sometime next year." Taijaya's voice came through the phone, urgent and rapid. "Are you sure? How do you know?" Jong Hyuk maintained his confidence. "I am sure. I was lucky enough to meet a Russian friend." He was still a bit skeptical, but a debt moratorium is as disastrous as a national default. I know the inflation rate is high, but I never realized the situation was this bad. Jong-hyuk thoughtfully analyzed, because Russia today was built after the collapse of the Soviet Union. I know this is hard to believe. I know this is not very comfortable. But can you investigate further? Taijia sighed but still accepted. Getting involved in this is not fun, but it is still feasible. Hearing that, you could not help but smile triumphantly. Great, I will leave it all to you. He quickly hung up, his face becoming pensive after everything was arranged. A gentle breeze swept through, carrying a bright red maple leaf swirling in the twilight sky. Jong-hyuk closed his eyes, enjoying the sweet aftertaste of autumn and the victories he had just reaped. He clenched his hand as if telling himself, autumn has arrived, since victory has left. His eyes became sharper. I should prepare for the national championship.